Hello there. You're live, YouTube says. Hello, everybody. Running a little late tonight. Usually I get almost a full half hour beforehand, but the kid and I were doing what we call battle before bed. So my 4-year-old is obsessed with stories with fighting. So he loves like Avengers and Ninja Turtles, and we've been reading a series of books called The Last Kids on Earth, and like after we finish reading it, he wants to pretend and act out the stories we just read. So we have like a whole bunch of foam weapons, and we battled each other, and our battle went extra long tonight. Because I think he does it partly because it's fun to pretend fight when you're 4, but also as a way to like everything scary we read about. It's a way for him to like say he can defeat it. I think that's a little bit of part of it. Cause some of this Last Kids on Earth series is, I think, targeted at like middle schoolers, so some of it's like a little old for him. So I can hear he's like grabbing onto my arm as I'm reading it because it's talking about zombies and monsters and stuff. How's my volume tonight? I don't think I messed with my sound equipment, so I think I'm in good shape. Oh, coffee. Sound is good, thank you. Hello, dog meat. Guys, I did a thing today that I'm so excited about. I've shared it with a bunch of people. I can't help myself. I'm so excited about what I did. After last stream, you remember how I spent, I don't know, 25 minutes rewiring my settlement? And I mentioned I was going to come up with a way to try and not have that happen again. Well, I kind of took it to the next level. I got obsessed with F4SE over the last 2 days. And I found some code that Registrator 2000 sent me in 2018. Like, this is how long we've been dealing with the scrap crash issue. And I fortunately, he was very helpful when some settlements first came out in that first year. And he was always open to discuss things with me. And he was the one who put out the power grid tools to allow for us to have a repair issue. Well, during that time, he had sent me another thing and said, like, hey, I came up with this thing. It's a little bit, it has some issues, but it generally works. Like, I sent it over to Expired to get put into F4SE proper. But until then, here's a DLL you can use and some code. Feel free to include that with your mods in the meantime. And I just assumed back then that it would end up in F4SE, and then I would use it when it did. Well, it never did. It's been 4 years, and it hasn't never made it in. It was like March 2018 when we were discussing this. And I dug up this old code and I tested it yesterday, and it works. And this code is amazing. It lets me do proper scrapping from papyrus. So those of you guys who are not tech heads who don't know what the hell I'm talking about, the way that sim settlements or workshop frameworks scrap things is really hacky. And it leaves a lot of references kind of just hidden in your settlement or buried under the world. We often just bury them deep below the world. And that's to prevent the scrap crash. And what the scrap crash is things get stuck in your power grid that shouldn't be there. And when that happens, your game crashes. That's why a lot of you guys will go to your settlements and the settlement will just crash. It's almost always because of the power grid failures. The power grid failure is actually a bug in the vanilla game. It shouldn't be there. Reg 2K's power grid tools do fix it, and so do workshop frameworks. But one of the primary reasons that they occur in the first place is because we don't have proper scrapping tools. So eventually your game runs out of ID numbers to use, and it has no choice but to reuse those old IDs of the items we buried, and then that leads to a bigger likelihood of crashing. It's not a guarantee. So anyway, so I've got code now where I can scrap proper from code for F4SE users. So that's one thing. I haven't fully committed to using it for everything, because I found out that if you use it outside of workshop mode, it can crash the game. It's not every time, but it's often enough where I'm like, okay, I can't use that for that. But I found something I can use it for. I'm going to show you guys this. So you remember last time I went through and rewired the settlement, right? So now I'm adding this. This is preview of the next workshop framework patch, which will come out with the next Sim Settlements 2 patch, which will be next Friday, presumably. I have a few options here, but the one we're going to play with is rebuild power grid and wiring. And it gives a whole bunch of warnings because, like, I don't want people to crash themselves. So you have to, like, do 2 prompts and confirm. So what ends up happening here is I took advantage of the little progress meters we have. But what this does is it rips out all the wires in your settlement, but it records where they were and then recreates them. So now what I can do with the next patch is I can turn the auto repair grid back on, And then as soon as you arrive in your settlement, it'll be like, hey, your grid was found to be corrupt. You want us to rebuild it for you? And it can do it all automatically. It takes like 2 or 3 minutes. And no more needing to manually rewiring everything. So look at this. Rewiring stuff in less than 2 minutes. It's way faster now. I forgot I spent a lot of time optimizing the code. This is just one part of it. I'll show you the other part probably later because I don't think I have time right now because there's another cool part I showed to patrons. There we go. Rewiring complete. So that, and then it has to do a little forced power transmission, but it just rebuilt all my wires, and it goes so fast you don't even see the wires disappear. And now, so like if we have another power grid corruption, I'll be able to fix it that easily, which is fantastic. There we go. And then it should be one more prompt saying it's now safe to exit workshop mode. There we go. Power grid completely regenerated from the workshop items. No more manually having to fix stuff. It's freaking amazing. Does not work on Xbox, unfortunately, but for PC users who are on F4SE, this is going to be a new tool in your toolbox in about 10 days. So, and I'll show you the other one after when we get to the later part of the stream because it's almost 9 o'clock, and I know we're going to start proper playthrough today. And today we're going to do the. I'm gonna have to. We'll go ahead and do that now. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do right now? You guys keep asking me to do it. I'm gonna go fix my shotgun because we're about to go do the battle for GNN. And
what are you building?
Well, I'm building a combat shotgun. Thank you for asking. Let's see here. Oh, I got lots of resources here. So I think we want hardened, right? Better. Well, I mean, we want superior damage, but I don't. Wait, actually, do I have a perk left? I wouldn't be surprised if I do. And I apologize, I'm just completely ignoring chat. I'm so short on time. For those of you guys who are, well, I'll do that stuff at 9 o'clock. For most of you guys who are early probably know my spiel by now. So here we go. Gun nut. Let's grab another one. Yeah. Let's see if we can get a superior damage receiver here. Nope, I don't want that. I want craft. All right, let's go to. Oh, are we still not on powerful, or do I just not? I just don't have enough stuff. Oh, I actually already had it high enough. I just need aluminum gears. Okay, we'll take what we can get here. Hardened receiver works. Long barrel, sure. Full stock, sure. Quick eject mag. Or do we want? We want probably. I don't know if I want quick eject or drum. We'll take drum for now. Standard sights. We'll take some glow sights. Or no, we'll do it. I like the reflex. We'll go reflex. No muzzle. Okay, so that should be good for that. Let's check our. Where's our other guy? Is that thing worth it? No. Powerful sniper rifle. Let's see. Can we build anything better here? What do we got here? What's a powerful one? The powerful is what we want, right? We could do that, but I don't have the stuff for it. Okay, so we need junk. Actually, I should start. Let me start doing that. Let's do tag for search. Nope, tag for search. All right. Yeah, looks like I'm just short on aluminum over and over again. It's just my big. I can go buy a bunch of that stuff. That'll be cool. Oops. Yeah. Let's see. I don't think I want to. I don't really like the recon scopes. I do like a long scope though. Just everything is aluminum and gears. Aluminum and gears. We'll go ahead and tag this just because I want to know what I should buy next. And what was the other? And then the laser rifle I used as well. Oops. I forgot I could rename those. Don't want me to rename. I never remember how to. Well, all we want is superior damage. That is all I care about. Superior damage. Where are you? Superior damage. That needs science. We're not anywhere near getting science, so we'll just leave that. Okay, that thing's fine. That thing's pretty good against people who don't have high ballistic defense. So, all right, cool. We finally upgraded our combat shotgun. It's not perfect, but it's better, so it should help in this battle. All right, it's 9 o'clock. Perfect. Okay, so welcome to the stream, everybody. For those of you guys new, I just want to go over a few little things before we get into actual gameplay. Pre 9 o'clock, I'm always just kind of dicking around, like working on settlement stuff or doing what you just saw and fixing up my weapons, stuff like that. So on my streams, I tend to have a very poor ability to pay attention to the game and to chat. So I just choose to pay attention to the game for the first half, and then I pay attention to chat in the second half. So we're going to go till about 10:30, which is about an hour and a half. With me just playing, and we might stop early, might stop late, depending on where I'm at with the quest stuff. So today we're gonna do the battle for GNN. We're gonna sleep and advance the quest because that's the spot I'm at right now. If you would like to get my attention, super chats are an option. We take all the money that comes in super chats and I reinvest it in the mod somehow. Like last Wednesday, we took all the super chat money and we put it into the city plan the Masters contest fund, and I upped the prize support for it. So thank you guys, everybody who donated last week. This week it'll just go probably into the general pool for all the random expenses that come up for building the mod. I will catch those usually in the middle of my stream. And otherwise, just make sure you @KingGath me, because when there's downtime, like if I'm on a loading screen or I'm you know, my eyes are glazing over from an NPC talking, I'll look over and read some chat and I may respond. Otherwise, once we get to post gameplay, 100% you got to tag me, because the chat will, I fall behind on the chat, like, because I'll get talking for 10 minutes and I'll be answering somebody's question, and then by the time I'm done, there's like 40 new messages. So if I'm only going to go through and read the ones that say at King Gathenham. We're also going to have a guest tonight. We're bringing Karvoc on. If you're not familiar with Karvoc, he has built one of the largest collections of city plans from anybody that's not directly on the Sim Settlements team. And he's going to join me tonight. We're going to discuss city plan building and the city plan contest and all that stuff, because he's got his own server, a Discord server, to help encourage people to work on city plans. So I want to definitely have a chat with him. Been a big part of the community for years now. So with all that out of the way, let's get into some gameplay. So I guess the gameplay is going to start really, really boring with me waiting. So we're gonna sleep here a couple times and trigger combat. I realize I should probably also mess with my armor, because I think I'm wearing the same I've been wearing the same garbage armor for like 5 levels now. Oh, good. And I'm getting a nice delay while I wait here. I guess I'll go to chat. This is one of those times. Let's see here. Oscar Fry, do you think you can make all the unique SS2 outfits compatible with the Atomic Beauty? I'm not doing that. Anybody is welcome to patch that, but that is a lot of work, and yeah, I'm definitely not doing that. I think it's just I don't know enough about that stuff, but I think what someone has to do is basically take our outfits and make body slide files for them, and then they just work with all the different body slides, and then sometimes you have to make little tweaks to them, but I don't know enough about it. But that's not something we're doing on our team. Our outfit team has so much to do still. There we go, into the beginning. So it's not something we'll do on the team, but I am totally up for somebody in the community doing it, and I will approve that patch release for sure. All right, let's see here. Into the beginning. Listen to Jake's private frequency.
Hey there, Slick. I hope you can hear me all right.
They can hear you asking you stupid questions, and of course they heard you.
Oh, would you just
Oh, I love that interaction.
It's called being polite. Jerk. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. Keeping out of trouble. Sorry, it's been a while since you heard from me. We've been burning the candle at both ends over here.
Hurry up.
Aiden says hello. He's his usual cheery self. Anyhow, Hey!
Listen up. We're ready to attack the plaza. Everything's in place, and the only thing we're waiting on now is you. Meet us at the coordinates embedded in this message. Get there as soon as you can. And come prepared.
This has been a pre-recorded message. Message repeats in 3 seconds.
So mad props to Cyvirus. He does, like, his role on the team has almost become the he's our professional audio drama engineer. Like, he does all the little anytime you hear like a little radio play going on where you can hear sound effects and like distance in the room, and it's all over radio with multiple characters, that's always Cyvirus who does those. It became kind of his specialty back on Conqueror, because we did quite a few of those, and then he brought it forward to this, and he does a killer job with those. And that one was really funny. Let's see here. Okay, we got to meet down there. So, oh man, I haven't been anywhere near there on the map. So I guess we'll go to, what's the fastest? Probably Diamond City, and just walk south. And while I'm in Diamond City, I can stock up on shipments too over there. Yes, I'm playing with a controller for sure. I love playing with a controller. It's actually become it's forcing poor Scrivener's hand on something he's working on for us. I think he was probably not gonna rush to do controller support for the new map I showed you guys briefly last stream. But I think since I told him that I use a controller, probably made him realize that I would prefer controller support at launch when we ship the map. I love a controller. It makes the games feel more relaxed to me. Like keyboard and mouse, I feel like I should be working from holding it. So I've always liked keyboard for that. And now I've gotten to the point where, because I remember when I started playing FPSs, I would always use keyboard and mouse, and I was like, there's no way a person with a controller can compete. But now, thanks to like most games now have like what do you call it, aim assist and whatnot. So now it's kind of the PC players are at the disadvantage. But I can't even go back just because I just don't remember how to use a keyboard and mouse properly with first-person shooters. I have to use a controller now. Like if someone hands me a game without controller support, I'm gonna. I mean, and you guys see I'm not particularly great at shooters in here. I get my butt kicked in this game plenty, so you can imagine how much worse I'd be if I was playing with a keyboard and mouse. It's funny. I'm walking all down these paths over here, and these are all spots we used in Conqueror Quest. So I'm in my head. I'm like expecting Jammer to pop up behind me and start talking. Sugar Pops, good day to you. Or is it whenever I see good day, I always want to go to like stereotype Australian accent. Good day, mate. Z Games. I have to say the attack on GNN is one of the more epic moments in a game. Have that build up and final attack is sweet. Very Mass Effect 2 ending if you ever played that game. Oh, Mass Effect 2, I'm sure Sir Rick loves to hear that. We strive to have an ending as good as that. Like that ending sequence in Mass Effect 2, I think is one of the best RPG ending sequences in any game ever. But I think our battle came out really good, and that was I give most of the credit to Sagittarius, or Sag as I call him, who does our main quest implementation with Chapter 2, and we'll do so with most of Chapter 3 as well. Come on, get him, dog meat. Because yeah, he had a lot to do with that, and then we tweaked it a little bit, like added in oh, is there another one coming? I remember we got the Vertibird working in there, which I think adds an awesome element to it. And then one of our sound engineers, Dell, took a crack at making it more epic with some cued music and whatnot, and it really plays out nice. I would think the only thing I think we all were disappointed about with the battle is we wish we could have more NPCs there. Like we wish we could have more of your allies and stuff, but the game just will not. You put too many NPCs in an area, especially fighting, and half of them will just stand there and stare at you. We ran into this, during Conqueror. Got the hiccups. And so we've learned our lesson, and now we kind of tone it down. We'll probably push the envelope in Chapter 3 anyway. Like, we'll risk it, because there's some moments where we're just like, well, we gotta have more NPCs, and we'll just hope that... Gotcha! We'll just hope the game can handle it, or that the player doesn't see the NPCs that are just standing there like morons. Oh, that feels so good. Anyone else? Oh, I hear another one. No, it was something. Come here. It sounds like it's closer, but I don't see anybody moving. Oh, there it was. Hey, buddy. That is one of the best features Bethesda put in Fallout 4. Alright, I see a... There he is. Hey, buddy. It seems I can. My mad stealth skills today. Alright, let's hop over here. I'm actually glad that we showed up over here at night. I know it's not great for viewing on the stream, but this battle just feels like, and everything, like this lead up and everything, feels like you want it to be nighttime. Hey, we got our Minutemen allies showing up. I see our CPD friends. There's Simon. Hey, Simon.
Hello.
Hello to you.
Nothing new to report, General. Hi there.
Hey there.
Hi.
We got our Nightingale support. Yes. Everybody's here. Gang's all here.
Feeling tense? I know I am. I hate the calm before a fight. Often it's worse than the battle itself.
How are you doing with all this?
Part of me feels like I'm betraying my own people. But if I'm honest with myself, it's been decades since the Gunners were really my people. I can't even remember the last time I was this close to the plaza. As you might know, I used to lead the Gunners. But once I retired, being here just brought back too many memories.
Any advice?
Once we attack, the element of surprise will only last for so long. The Gunners will adapt. That's when we can expect the real fight to begin.
Any other advice, Captain?
Don't underestimate Wes. He's the second longest serving leader the Gunners have ever had. And you don't hold that position for that long without learning a thing or two.
I'm no stranger to combat.
I just want to say all the things now. I love Algernon's voice.
A dose of apprehension is healthy. Too much can be paralyzing. Too little can be deadly. So I hope you found the balance that works for you.
Then let's get to it.
Roger that.
But yeah, if any of you is noticing that I have significantly more allies than you did when you did this, that is probably because in the last patch, or in was it the last patch? I found a bug in there that would, depending on the order you did things, some of the allies could get reset, like the ally counters. We have like these behind the scenes counters that determine which allies you're gonna get, and it could get messed up. And I fixed that issue, so if you sided with one of the major factions, like if you worked through the quest line for the Minutemen or the Brotherhood or the Railroad or Institute, you should find that you have a decent amount more troops after the last patch than you would have prior. All right.
Good to see you again. Algernon's been giving me the stink eye ever since I showed up. I don't think he appreciated me skipping out on the vault. I'll be assisting with some recon for this operation of yours. Here's hoping it all goes well.
Recon, eh?
That's right. You could say it's my speciality. I'll do my best to help with any surprises the gunners may have in store for you.
Any idea what I'm gonna see in there?
The plaza is the gunners' main base of operations, so surprise, surprise, it's full of gunners. Once you make it in there, you can expect any troops you find to take up standard defensive positions. They'll make use of cover, operate in small teams, and do their best to flank you if possible. So, make sure you're always watching your back.
Why are you here?
What? Did you forget or something? You asked me to come work for you, remember? So, here I am, ready, willing, and able to help a friend in need.
You went way off script there, Surik. As there was a line that totally didn't match the text underneath. I don't know if that was...
let's get to work.
We mixed up an
Right
audio
behind
file,
you.
or what was going on there?
In a manner of speaking.
What's this? Minuteman.
Excuse
Hello,
me.
Teresa.
Hey there, fancy pants.
I love these little interactions
Say
before
hello
or
to your
after like a
demolition
major event.
expert.
This is something I'm always bugging our writers to add in. This one I didn't have to, so Rick did this voluntarily, but this is the type of stuff where I always like pile on to their list of to-dos, and I'm sure they hate me for it because this stuff, like, this is what makes it feel like the characters are real, right? When they always have something to say about what's about to go down. I know that was one of the, before we put the pause on Conqueror's development, or I guess before we ended it, but we didn't know we were ending at the time. One of the things we got stuck on is we had the next content patch for Conqueror ready to go, except for this kind of dialogue between the quest stages, and so I think that is part of what derailed the development, which is such a bummer. Like, we were so close to having it done, and then we needed to fill in a bunch of this kind of dialogue because of the next few quests in Conqueror were really involved. But anyway, I digress.
Do you have any advice?
Advice on what? Attacking the plaza? How should I know? I look like a psycho to you or something? I don't know. Shoot them all before they shoot you? Besides that, just keep your head down and make sure you got plenty of stim packs.
Tell me about your role in this.
I'll be doing what I used to do best. Making stuff go boom. When I was with the Minutemen, I was a demo specialist. You know, explosives and stuff. But I'll clarify the details later. For now, you should go talk with Jake or Aiden.
That's all I needed to know.
Oops, I missed an option.
Whatever you
Oh.
say.
Hey, Lupe.
Oh, hey. Are you ready? I'm ready. Yep. Ready to hack that terminal. I hope no one shoots at me.
How'd you end up here?
Mr. Theron hired a bodyguard to bring me. A good thing, too. There were a lot of ferals on the road between here and Diamond City. And most of them looked like they'd seen combat recently.
Think you can unlock that terminal?
Oh, I know I can. I don't know where they got it, but the gunners have an amazing security system. Anytime I was at the plaza, I studied it as much as I could.
Whoa, teleporting Minuteman.
Even if they've changed all their passwords, I know every back door that system has. I can hack it. No problem.
Don't worry. I'll keep you safe.
I hope I will.
I know you'll do your best. It's just... bullets seem to have a habit of going where you'd least want them.
See you later, kid.
Bye now.
Okay. I think Aiden's got a really funny response here.
Took you long enough.
As you can see, your reinforcements found
Oh
their way
yeah,
here just fine.
he's like, no, just go to Jake.
Everything's prepared for the assault. Apart from a few minor details, we're good to go.
But we're not going to start anything until you're ready. So just let us know when you want to do this.
What was the plan again?
We're going to attack the Gunners Plaza. The comm hub is somewhere inside, so we need to get in there and secure it.
And if we happen to kill a few dozen gunners along the way, all the better.
Do we have enough troops for the assault?
They say the more the merrier, and we probably could do with a little more merriment. But I think we've got enough people to pull this off.
Everything's ready. It's time.
All right, then. First, let's get you up to speed with our plans so far. As you obviously know, we're gonna be attacking the plaza. We need to get inside, find the comm hub, and deal with any gunners that might try and stop us.
But
Ooh, good old
before
camera.
we can do that, we need to take out one of the plaza's external defenses.
That being a minefield that surrounds the entire compound. Before we can attack, we need to deal with that minefield.
They have a minefield?
Yep, and it's a big one. Fairly smart layout, too. If you set one mine off, at least 6 others nearby detonate as well.
I'm so afraid to do this quest right now, guys. Not only because I think I'm going to die a lot, but because I'm worried I broke it when I was last doing bug fixes. So, and then
Just
we're going to
find
find out
another route.
on
That's the
cam
thing.
here.
The only clear route to the plaza is by a road. But the gunners know that, and they watch it 24/7. The moment they saw anyone using that road, they just launch a barrage of mini nukes at them.
Have any ideas?
The minefield. We detonate it. Whole thing, all at once.
What?
I gotta say, this idea of theirs was
I
inspired.
like that response option. from
Listen
the
to
player.
this.
Okay, so, at key points all around the minefield, me and Lupe have set up some mannequins. All dressed and kitted out to look like real people.
They'll make noise, shine lights, some even move around. The gunners will think they're under attack.
Which technically will be true.
And if the gunners follow standard procedure, they'll attempt to neutralize the attackers using mini-nukes.
Then, boom! Nukes hit the ground, set off a chain reaction, blows every mine in the field. In one swift move, we can clear a safe path to the plaza and kick enough debris into the air that the gunners won't even see us coming.
Ingenious.
Is this going to work?
We ran the numbers and it all worked out. As long as the gunners hit their targets with the nukes, we'll be fine.
Oh, that's weird.
It's a
That,
good
that
plan,
one
right?
line of Teresa's was way
As long as our
quieter than the
estimates
other
are
ones.
correct, it'll definitely work.
We're all in agreement on how we deal with the minefield. However, what we do after that is where some of us have a difference of opinion.
He means me.
Yeah. Aiden thinks we should climb to the top of the plaza and secure it, cutting off any means of escape for the gunners. And then, kill as many of them as we can.
And Jake thinks we should go through the front door, hack their security, and broadcast an evac message, letting most of the gunners just run away.
Well, I'm curious
How
what they have
much
to say.
damage would it cause if we let them go?
Huh. That's a good question. Look, I won't pretend the gunners are saints. We both know the group as a whole has done some bad stuff. But does that really give us the right to just wipe them all out? I mean, how many more gunners inside that plaza could be someone like Lupe or Algernon? Can we really deny all those people the right to run away if they don't want to fight?
There has to be some other way to deal with them. Something less drastic.
I understand your hesitation. Truly, I do. I also used to think the same way. Some time ago, I didn't act when I could have. Because I thought what needed to be done was too extreme, too drastic. And you know what happened? Quincy happened. An entire town slaughtered by gunners. I've seen firsthand the destruction gunners bring, and so have you. We now have the chance to stop anything like that from ever happening again. This is a watershed moment. Wiping these monsters out is the right thing to do. And I think you already know that.
Wes and his loyalists need to be stopped. I won't deny that. But an outright slaughter isn't the answer.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I want to make a save right here. So I know I want to do Jake's plan for like my canon playthrough because there's a certain path that I want to happen in here. But if this goes smoothly, I can double back and play through Aiden so you guys can see the other side. And I think I just saw Yogi say there's a that Aiden's doesn't work, so it'd be good to have a save for that. So let me make a save here. Save LP day 17. Jesus, we're on day 17. Let's see, we'll say a pre-planned choice. And I should be able to load back up to here and pick Aiden's instead.
I say we go through the front door.
But yeah, only play
Thanks
Jake's.
for backing me on
And
this.
I'm only gonna do that if I get
know
this
it might
done
come
by
back
like
on us,
10.
but I
Then I
really
should have
think
time.
it's
But
the right thing
otherwise,
to do.
we'll
That's your
maybe I'll
play,
just do it on
fine.
my
I'll still help.
non-streaming
The
hours.
consequences of this will be on your head, not mine.
Thank you. I know what you must think of the Gunners, but they don't all deserve to be killed.
All right, so we're agreed on what we're doing. We blow the mines and use the dirt kicked up to cover our approach. Then you, me, and Lupe enter through the front door. Lupe hacks the security and broadcasts an evac message. Then whilst the Gunners are preoccupied or running away, you and me start looking for the comm hub.
You should look for the hub in the old newsroom. If anywhere, that's where they'd be keeping it.
Once we get in, what's the plan?
After Lupe hacks security, we'll head to the main atrium and deal with any Gunners still there. Once that's done, it's a short walk to the old newsroom. If Lupe's right, hopefully that's where we'll find the comm hub.
The others?
Everyone else will stay out here, keep the pressure on the Gunners. The more we can keep them distracted outside, the less there'll be to deal with inside.
Can't think of anyone I'd rather have at my side.
Thanks. The feeling's mutual. All right, we'll need to wait for nightfall before we begin. Once we start this, there'll be no turning back. So make sure you're ready. When you're good to go, take up position. And good luck to all of us.
And this little thing right here, I'm sure any of you played Cyberpunk knows exactly where we got it. I love that feature of Cyberpunk where they like force certain weather and time to add atmosphere to moments, and like we wanted that exact same thing for this, because it just plays so much better at night. Let's see. So now we're gonna save because I'm gonna die. So day 17 pre-battle. All right. Wait for attack.
You all right? Looked as if you were a million miles away.
Don't worry about me. I'm all set.
Hey, Teresa's about to trigger the mannequins. And I think Aiden's on a ridge somewhere?
He's like right.
to
I can see him right at the
give
top
us
left of my
cover
screen. I
fire
think
or
he's supposed to be a
something?
little bit higher up.
Oh, and everyone else is in position too. They'll make it seem like there's a whole army out there. Should draw a lot of fire away from us.
Already? Huh. Thought we'd still had a few more minutes. Well, all right then. Let's do this.
Oh, here comes
Hey,
Algernon running
keep
in.
your eye on the plaza. You won't want to miss this.
Do you hear that? That's the mannequins. They're working.
Looks like the gunners took the bait.
Look, they're firing! They did. They hit every decoy.
Damn! Cover your eyes!
Yeah, all right. Let's go.
Let's move out!
Follow me. Don't fall behind.
Oh, I'm gonna fall behind and I'm gonna die, Lupe, and so are you. Oh, I love that Algernon just immediately goes invisible. He's just, nope. All right, time to, oh God. Get some cover, get some cover. Yeah, get him, Lena. Sorry, Lupe, you're on your own. I know how this works. I don't actually have to stand next to you. Mr. Gutsy, come here. You're mine. Poor Jared. Oh God. Oh, somebody died. Get him, dog meat. Good job. Why can't I hit? Or did I just hit? I think I just hit Simon. My bad, bud. Oh God. Oh good, I have grenades. I didn't even think to check that beforehand. Oh, good thing to know that the city services are improving right now. One of the things on my, like, long... Whoa, 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 whoa! Get off me. Wait. One of the things on my long-term to-do list is to migrate all of our notifications through the Workshop Framework system. We have a system for hiding messages during times like combat or dialogue. I need to route everything through that. Hello, guys. I got a new fancy shotgun I want to test out.
Come on!
I'm right behind you. Didn't think I was going to pull this off. Oh, good. The vertibird ran away, I think. Hard to say. Oh god. I saw the grenade marker. I didn't see them throw the grenade. Gotcha. Hopefully somebody took out the guy with the mini nuke. I haven't heard it go off. Sneaking up behind you, Lupe. Oops. Oh, sorry, dog meat. God, there's so much loot out here I'm missing out on. Whoa, hey, buddy. Like, dog meat's just got my back here. Way to go, boy. I might come through this. Oh, look at Jake over there with his big old laser cannon. Get him.
Keep going.
We are going. We're kicking butt here. In fact, it's inspired me to go ballsy here. Hey, bud. God, Gunner Commander. There's the legendary gunner. Give me some loot. Don't kick my dog. Head off. Gonna level up. That's what I'm talking about. Where's the legendary gunner? I want your loot. I don't think I've gotten a decent legendary drop yet. I'm due. Let's see, what do we got? Oh. Man, I am crushing it. Knock on wood. Oh god. Wait. Algernon. What are you doing? The dude right next to you. Oh, Dogmeat's got him. Dogmeat just ripped his head off. Oh, can we go in already? And I'm just over here having a ball. Killing everybody, wasting all my shotgun ammo before we get in. Yep. In we go. They got the rest. Come on, let's go. Whew. Alright. That's the hard part done. Now it's just going to be a matter of, did I burn all my ammo?
Just give me a second.
I definitely burned all that ammo. Let's see. Okay, they got a lot of
Bypassing
this.
security. And I've done it.
Condition black. Repeat. Condition black. This is a base-wide alert. All personnel are to follow proper evacuation procedure. Repeat. Condition black.
All right, this is it. You've done your part, Lupe. You stay here and keep your head down.
Okay.
Good old
Remember,
dialogue
head
camera.
to the old newsroom. I'll be keeping my fingers crossed.
I wonder if Jake has... Yep. For some reason, whenever he passes through this doorway with that gun, it's invisible. I've tried 6 different times to fix it, and I've given up. You just get to have an invisible giant gun. You guys saw him with it outside. It's not just like a general problem. It's just something... I don't know if it's with this cell or with the copy of the laser gun we gave him. I don't know what's going on with it. But I've moved on. We just call it a Bug Thursday issue. It's not like a custom gun or anything. It's just a regular old Gatling laser. Where are you? Oh, stuck on the shelf. I think if you guys ever noticed, the AI is like kind of pathetic in this front hall here. I think I didn't fix the nav mesh for this cell. I think we copied it from our HQ cell, which has a dynamic nav mesh, and this one I think needs to have it customized. So I know I watched a lot of people play, and this particular, just this room is like all the NPCs are dumb. It just lets you kind of walk all over them. There's one more in here. Also,
Bingo.
thank you. Whoa, 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 whoa. Oh, I love that animation. Thank you. You guys have no idea how hard I'm fighting the urge to loot. I hear somebody shooting, but I don't see anybody. This is blocked off. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Where was that? There's 2 more guys somewhere. There we go. Oh, I guess I should heal up. Up here, Jake. Use the stairs, please. Well, I guess he can't either if the nav mesh is kind of wonky in this room. Alright, I gotta loot a little. Sorry, guys. Just a little. I need to make sure I get enough ammo to survive the next couple of bits. Jake, you look so ridiculous. Pick up a real weapon, please. Okay. Down we go. Look at this. All you guys are losing those bets.
Hold your positions. Repeat. Hold your positions. Do not evacuate. The plaza is under attack. Repeat. Hostile forces have breached the plaza. All hands to battle stations. Prepare to repel the attackers.
They do know we're here. Yes, please.
Need to pull the chains off.
We'll have to find another way.
All right, to the basement. I feel like I need to save here too because I watched this encounter screw up for some people. Pill day 17 pre-basement. I cannot believe that we did not die outside because I was playing really dumb. I glanced at chat during the load screen and saw some of you guys saying like, "Get off the main street." You are correct. That was really bad of me.
Basement.
And where are you two going? Maybe not as smart as you thought, huh? Next time you try sneaking in someplace, maybe don't set off a huge explosion first. I warned you, but you didn't listen. So now you're gonna pay for crossing the gunners.
I have questions.
Hold on. I have some questions first.
I suppose there's no harm in answering a dead man's questions. Might even be funny. Yeah, go ahead. Ask.
Berman's got the old spike ear bug going on right now. That is not a mod bug. That's a classic Fallout 4 issue. I actually think it might mean I need to regen his face geometry. That might be the issue. Because it doesn't always happen. It would be you got a like 50-50 shot of it happening to you.
Who were you?
Listen about your past.
Ah, I get it. You want to know about the man who's gonna kill you. All right. Here's a story for you. A few years back, there was this guard in Diamond City. One day, he and two others get called out to deal with some mercenaries outside the front gate. 3 guards against a whole squad of mercs. Anyway, a fight breaks out. Right away, one of the guards takes a bullet to the head. But this other guy, Barry, I think his name was, he gets lucky.
What happened?
Barry got behind a merc. Now he's holding him at gunpoint, shouting, "Surrender or he dies." Now I know the mercs ain't gonna surrender. They're just waiting to get a clear shot on Barry. Only, they didn't get the chance, because I shot Barry first. The mercs were impressed, recognized talent when they saw it, offered me the chance to leave the Diamond City Guards and join them. So I did. You want to know who I was? Same person I've always been. A survivor.
Scout, would be cool if McCready had dialogue for this. I would not be shocked if he doesn't. There is a lot of companion dialogue interspersed throughout this. I just haven't been using companions, so we don't see any of it from me. This isn't, I gotta take a moment for my obligatory reminder to everybody who played Conqueror. The voice of Berman also did Maul and the Toilet King, which is nuts. His range is so good. Jeff is amazing.
Why do you hate the Commonwealth and its people so much?
Look at you, thinking you know it all. You think I hate the Commonwealth? Why? Because I do what needs to be done? Listen up. Anyone who stands against us needs to be put down, hard and fast. But it ain't got nothing to do with hate. I just don't give a shit.
Why so hostile?
Why? Because you are one arrogant son of a bitch. The way you walk, the way you talk, it's like you're above it all. Like for some reason, you're just so much better than everyone else. You can try to deny it all you want, but but I see right through you. You got a messiah complex or something, and it pisses me off.
I like the meta reference to the player. Always a messiah in every Bethesda game.
Forget it. Never mind.
Ah, whatever. So you ready to die now or what?
Do you have a preference how I handle this?
Well, can't say I'm exactly a fan of the Gunners.
It looks like Jake's hiding in the
Least of all this.
elevator.
I don't know. This one's in your court. However you want to do this, I'll back your decision.
Hey, I'm talking to you.
You're making a big mistake here. You can still do the right thing. Just think this through.
You're the one who made
Wow, I failed that.
A mistake
I was really hoping to keep him alive. Oh well.
Is there any way I can change your mind?
Oh, sure. Just ask nicely.
Well, that's a bummer. I wanted to keep him alive because I feel like the ending of Chapter 2 is so much more impactful when he's still alive. I kind of want to save Scum and do it. I think I'm gonna, because I really want you guys to see that when we get to. So we'll just power through this. I'm gonna save Scum and I'm gonna try and do that because the ending for Chapter 2 I like way better when he's alive. So we're gonna do that just planning long term here. We still got a ways to go before we get to the end, but all right. Well, let's go down. Save Scum in.
Basement.
Yeah, I could just mod my stat, but if I miss again, I will. But I'm gonna just power through this real quick. I'm not gonna ask his backstory. Yeah. We know Berman. Let's talk.
Whoa, wait a second. Let's discuss this.
Are you slowing it? Or do you really...
Right. You're making a big mistake here. You can still do the right thing. Just think this through.
You're the one
What?
who made the mistake.
How am I? What is going on here? This thing's rigged. I've never failed an orange speech check with 9 charisma before. All right, we're gonna go to like. Actually, yeah, I should be able to like restore my stat afterward. This is for story. This is for good entertainment on the stream. We're cheating here. All right, we need to go. Let's see. Oops, I'm in the wrong chat. Prid 14. Set AV charisma. Or let's see. Set value. Charisma 50. All right, and then we'll go get value charisma. Make sure it worked. I also want to make sure I can restore it. So set value. It was 9, so we'll put that back. Get value. Okay, good. I can set it back. I don't want to permanently have 50 charisma. That would be especially brutal on my settlements would all start recruiting like crazy. All right. If we fail this, there's something broken. There's no way I should fail this now. Yeah, I could have used a charisma chem. That's a good point, or a beer or something.
And where are you two
cheating?
going?
I'll guarantee it.
Maybe.
We got better things to do than do this over and over again. Let's talk.
Wait a second. Let's discuss.
Are you, or do you really?
You're making a big mistake here. You can still do the right thing. Just think this through.
The hell are you yammering about?
You don't have to do this.
Oh yeah? And what do you suggest I do instead, huh?
Get out of here, and don't come back.
Nah! You know what? Screw this. I'm sick of you trying to mess with my head. You want to take on the rest of the plaza? Fine. Be my guest. Here, this key card will let you take the elevator to the 2nd floor. Go get yourself killed by Wes.
Hold on. I believe you've got some of mine. My pistol. Hand it over.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. Just shut up and get out of my way.
Despite everything he did, never took that guy for a coward. Guess you can never tell. All right, Slick. I'm gonna stay down here. Stop any gunners from following and sneaking up on you. You got the key card, so go ahead. Go find the comm hub.
Don't worry. I'll find it.
I know you will. Best of luck.
All right. So this is going to be our oh, I better, before I forget, let's put that back. This is going to be our canon save. I'm going to go do the whole rest of it, and then, because the differences when you do Aiden, I think end here. So I think that, yeah, I think that. So I'm looking at my time. I actually could do it now. But I kind of want to like, I'm feeling good right now. I think I can take on Wes and company, whereas, you know, give me 20 minutes and I might slip back into my old combat habits. So we're gonna go up to the second floor now that we got the key card. So I think we're gonna finish this all up and then we'll roll back and I'll show you guys the differences with the Aiden path.
Going up.
Or we'll find out it's horribly bugged and then it'll add a nice save to my arsenal for fixing
Damn
stuff.
it! What are you people doing? Reports of attackers on basement level. Repeat, basement level. Repel the attackers at all costs. We could not afford to lose the plaza.
Thank you. Going for the knees. Hey, bud. Melted. Where are you guys? Oh, they're under the stairs. Here, take that. Oh, legendary. Here we go. Give me your loot. Get out from under the table, lady. There we go. It's just hot garbage over and over again from my legendary rolls. What do we got? Hey, buddies. Here, have this. Also, I want to play with my shotgun a little more. Although I guess shotgun might... I don't have enough ammo to rely on that for during the West fight. Unless I can get some rounds from one of these guys. Oh, more down this way, okay. Oh, up the stairs. Get dead. All of you. Alright, and then this is another encounter that I watched people bug out on. So LP day 17 pre-Wes. I love having these saves for repeatable issues. It makes bug fixing so much easier. Especially since I'm playing on such a strict download order. Alright.
Stand down! Stand down.
Oh, I know what we're doing for this battle.
Open the doors.
Yeah. Sweet, sweet jet.
Let them in.
I'll admit, that was some fireworks show you put on out there. I know why you're here, but I won't let you take it. Your hub is too important to our work.
Why would you do this?
Remind me, what were you using the hub for again? Letting people decorate houses, wasn't it? Such a waste.
Who are you supposed to be?
I'm Wes, captain of the Gunners. And once my work is finally done, governor of the Commonwealth.
I'm just here to take back what you stole.
It's hard to steal what was never yours to begin with. There's a damn good reason we secure technology like your comm hub. Not to mention other valuable resources. And locations. And if people like you would just stay out of our way, and let us finish what we started, the Commonwealth would already be on the brink of restoration. I'm sorry, but your comm hub is Gunner property now. And I assure you, we'll put it to much better use than you ever would.
What are you talking about? The world's been destroyed.
With the right technology, that devastation can be reversed. But too many lack the vision to do what's necessary. To see the bigger picture. You need an example. Look to the Minuteman. After all, it was their short-sightedness that caused the Quincy incident.
I keep getting distracted. The lady over his left shoulder, her face model looks almost exactly the same as our character Benny Strong. So he's looking like, Benny, what are you doing?
What do you mean?
You turncoat.
What happened?
All we needed was unrestricted access to a single house within Quincy. The plan was simple. We storm the town with overwhelming numbers, occupy it, then present our demands. Once the mayor agreed to our terms, we'd pull out most of our troops, then secure the house. All with minimum resistance, or loss of life. But then, the Minutemen arrived.
Minutemen.
They attacked us from behind. Killed a third of my men. We were forced to retreat. Our original plan in tatters. We'd lost too many troops. Not to mention the element of surprise. So instead, we surrounded the town and laid siege. After a few days, we tried to negotiate a peaceful surrender. But the Minutemen colonel convinced the mayor to reject our offer. They left us with no other options. So we took the town by force. The Minutemen couldn't see the bigger picture. Their actions ended up destroying that town and effectively killing their own organization.
Oh, I wonder why it's let me ask Quincy instead again. Interesting. Let's
Look,
try
I'm sure we
diplomatic.
can work this out.
You were given plenty of warnings. The time for negotiation is over. Under my guidance, with our employer's backing, the Gunners can resurrect the wastes, create prosperity not seen since the Great War. With your hub computer tied into our comms, we finally have the means to achieve that. So I refuse to hand it back to the likes of you.
Where did you get that vault suit?
From a vault, where else? Every vault in the Commonwealth rightfully belongs to the Gunners. And that ownership extends to all property inside as well.
Are we supposed... Oh, interesting. I wonder if that was a missed thing when we'd set up his outfit. Were we supposed... Sir Rick will know. He wrote this. Were we supposed to put a vault suit under armor on Wes? Or maybe he already has one and it's just not visible with that armor?
Sounds like you're protecting someone.
If you mean our employer.
Defend gun crossing. The Gunners are out there invading while we're in here beating the snot out of their leadership. Whoops.
In exchange for a few minor services, they've revealed countless stockpiles of technology and pre-war assets.
Ah, there's a vault suit on the desk.
Most
Okay.
of it untouched since the bombs fell.
We should probably set up a camera to point at that. I never noticed that one, and I'm betting that Sag didn't either, because he loves to do stuff like that, like point the camera at things.
Of all the ways to make caps, why this?
This isn't just about money. And if you think it is, you haven't listened to a word I've said.
I thought you were a reasonable man. Maybe I was wrong.
I won't stand aside and let some self-righteous wastelander destroy everything I've worked towards. No. Your meddling ends here.
Yep. Alright, let's do a little of this and this. Oh, yeah, that's good. I love me some jet. Oh, am I out of grenades finally? Oh, there we go. Get out of there, Wise. For some reason, I don't know. I don't know if it's just the armor on Captain Wes is that much better, but for whatever reason, whenever I watch people fight Captain Wes versus Berman, like Berman goes down so easy, and Wes seems to take it like a champion. There we go.
Looks like you pulled it off. Guess I bet in the right Brahmin after all. Suppose I should get going soon. But before I do, a word of warning. That Aiden guy, keep an eye on him.
What's next for you?
Who knows? But it's safe to say I'm done with the Gunners. Maybe there's some other groups out there that can make use of my skills. Or maybe I'll go freelance. I have always wanted to try my hand at bounty hunting.
What about him?
The Gunners had a fair amount of intel on him. I don't know how much of it was true, but I'm just saying, maybe you should keep an eye on him.
Anything else I should know?
I think I've already said too much. Look, I'm sure Aiden's a real nice guy. You've probably got nothing to worry about.
Thanks for your help.
The Gunners had it coming. I was just gonna leave and keep my head down before things got too bad, but this way's good too.
See you around.
Doubtful. Au revoir, mon ami.
So Wise, if it's hard to see it because in the chaos of battle, but Wise disables the Assaultron in here if you happen to have him with you. If you guys, I saw you guys asking about the gunner with the number. That is actually from a. Oh yeah, we should grab the commander gear. Oh, sorry, naked man on camera. Oh man, that weighs so much. The gunner with the number is a. He is from another quest we have. So it's from, I believe it's mentioned in some stuff you find with No Man's Land's quest line. So if any of you guys have found that character, you'll know what that gunner is, which we have not seen it yet. So let's drop some of this junk. That's not the one I'm using, is it? No, I'm using the boosted. Get rid of you. And you. My god, I have so much stuff. Oh, I guess I'm not really using this combat rifle. I don't know why I have it favorited. Let's see, what else can I get rid of? Not get rid of Margaret. Don't use frag mines. Oh, do I just have a better sniper rifle in my inventory that I picked up from someone? Powerful marksman's. I guess that's, yeah, I have a lot of 50 cal. Could just be using this instead. Well then, that makes sense to me. And then what else? Do I need to get anything else? Yes, I do. Oh my god, there's so much crap. Oh, I guess I can equip. Let's see. Let's equip the gunner commander gear. Holy cow! Look at that. Let's see. Need to drop some stuff here. We'll drop you. You. I guess I don't care about this. These things are garbage. They're not going to bring in much money anyway. I don't need the uniform anymore. Don't need that. We're just going to go around looking like Captain Wes for a while. Okay, that's enough. I can figure out some more stuff later. I don't know if I'll ever even change out of this other than, let's see what I look like. Oh yeah. Much better. Look armored up. What we should do is add a mod to this, like a thing you could go in the thing and remove his symbol, because you know we gave Captain Wes his own symbol. We have the stuff in place, and I don't think it ever got implemented correctly. I started to, and I didn't do it correctly. We had it set up to where all of the gunners loyal to Wes would have that emblem on them, and then the ones loyal to Algernon would have another emblem. And we ended up having problems with, oops, I grabbed dirty gray suit, oops. We had a problem with the emblem on Algernon. It started crashing the game during VATS. Nice. So we ended up having to cut it last minute just because we just didn't have time to deal with it. It's one of those things we might go back and add in later, especially because we have some Chapter 3 stuff with them that might be useful. So we should probably get that thing fixed. But yeah, that's that limbo on there. Okay, so let's, I'm going to, yeah, I got enough time, 9:53. We can run through, just show you guys Aiden stuff, and then I'll reload this save and come back and we'll talk to all our friends out here. So let's go, because I think this one quest is a nice progress for tonight. So we'll go LP Day 17, Cannon, we'll call this. All right, now let's load back up, and let's choose, because this battle's fun to do. Let's go choose Aiden's path. You guys can see this. It's just not a ton of differences. And also I'm really interested if it's going to bug out. There's not a ton of differences in it. One of the differences, though, is that what I did with Berman is not possible. You do not. I mean, you can be led to believe that can happen, but you do not get to let him free if Aiden's around. Was there a vault suit on the desk? Oh, I totally forgot to check. All right, let's pick Aiden's plan.
You're right. Let's go in there and get
So
him.
here's the first thing that
I know
happens.
you'd see reason. You're making the right call.
All right.
Wait,
I mean, it's not as if
did I
don't
break it, or
understand
does it just
where
not
you're
happen
both
yet?
coming from. It's just, I wish it didn't have to be this way.
I can't say I'm thrilled with your decision. Do what you need, but I'll have no part in this.
So that's the first thing that
Alright.
happens.
So we're
Algernon
agreeing on
is
what we're
out.
doing.
He's no
We blow
longer
their
interested in being your
minds and
ally.
use the dirt kicked up to cover our approach. Then you, me, and Aiden climb to the top of the plaza and secure the roof. Aiden will make sure no gunners escape, whilst you and me enter and search for the comm hub.
You should look for the hub in the old newsroom. If anywhere,
Yeah, Mytho,
that's
you're
where
probably
they'd be
right.
keeping it.
The vault suit probably went flying off, or it might have just we maybe forgot to plant it. I think it was in there. I think it might have been in there vanilla. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll have to go double check. Let's see.
Can't think of anyone I'd rather have at my side.
Hope Algernon didn't actually leave.
Feelings
Oops.
mutual. All right, we'll need to wait for nightfall before we begin. Once we start this, there'll be no turning back. So make sure you're ready. When you're good to go, take up position. And good luck to all of us.
Okay. Let's see. Did Algernon leave finally? No. I don't know if that's set up for him to walk away, or some of the AI is really wonky when they're involved in quest scenes, and then to make them leave is it's like a constant struggle we have with this. Like there's a lot of weird stuff that happens in the game, like in In Chapter 1, there's a quest with Jake where he hands you a tape and asks you to use it in the terminal nearby, and then he always wanders upstairs. And we've always had that scripted not to happen, but just half the time the scene doesn't work and it just fails to fire the AI package. It's really frustrating.
Don't worry about me. I'm all set.
Heads up. The mannequins are about to go off. I've set Lupe up with a rifle. Doubt she'll hit anything, but should offer a distraction. As for all the others, I've got them spread out, ready to offer fire support. Should take some of the heat off of us.
Already? Huh. Thought we'd still had a few more minutes. Well, all right then. Let's do this. Hey, keep your eye on the plaza. You won't want to miss this.
Sugar Pops, yeah, you can do it with all 3 factions. You just get like 1 or 2 guys from each faction when you do that, I believe.
Looks like the gunners took the bait.
They're firing! Nukes inbound!
I'm glad we've got the
Cover your eyes! Good to see you.
subtitles on. Well, they're good to see you, says Jared.
Clear. Let's move out!
Alright, let's follow Aiden. Oh god. Nope, no, I didn't want it to jump. There we go. Somebody used a cryo grenade there. Whoa. Oh god, another cryo grenade. Man, I've never been hit by one of those in this game. Oh, someone behind me. Oh, a legendary. Hello. Let's see, do I get a better loot that I don't get to keep? Nope, same garbage. I guess the rolls are probably predetermined in their inventory, I don't know. I'm just totally ignoring the vertebrate up there. I'm counting on the NPCs to take it down. I guess I should join in here. Get out of here! I don't know if that was enough damage. I think it's 50% it flies away. Oh, still a turret left over there. Go. Oh! Watching the corpses fly. Stay behind me, I'm in front of you. Oh! Who's that? He froze. Who's this? Simon. Oh no, the vertebrate's back. Get out of here. I don't think that's gonna work, Simon. Yeah. Nope, I keep hitting that instead of jump. Oh my god, grenades everywhere. Oh, oh, oh. Standing out in the open here. Alright, I should do this. Is Jared on the ground getting hurt? No. Don't suppose I could sit this one out. Oh, I've never heard that line. That's great. I think the combat lines for our NPCs are some of my favorite. For all of them. Like, even the like recruitable settlers, I love hearing the combat lines. They're all really fun. Oh, that's a Minuteman running away. Oh my god. This one's not going nearly as well as the first one did. Oh, I missed. Wait, a caravan guard joined in? Oh god. I would not be shocked if I accidentally popped him with a grenade or something and we're fighting the caravan. Nope, caravan guard's on our side. Alright, I'll take it. And snuck up to the back, guys. I'm the worst flanker ever. I couldn't hit anything. There we go. Give me that bloody mess. Oh, Wow, Lena, I almost popped you right in the face. I probably would have missed, though. You're fine. Do I still hear the vertebrate out there? Oh, Teresa's down. Man, there's just so much. Where's Aiden during all this? There we go. Oh, vertebrate's back again. Oh, didn't mean to do that. Should have. Jared. Oh god, exploding car. Or is this the bug? Is it like stuck in an infinite loop and it doesn't detect the waves being killed? Is this what I'm dealing with here? We'll find out shortly. Killing all the last one with the marker on it. There we go. To the plaza. Alright. Oh wait, I'm supposed to go... I think I need to go up on the roof, not through that door. There we go. Up we go. Aiden, where are you? Nope. Nothing left. Wait, did I just hear Aiden? There he is. Cool. Oh, Jake's with me too. Awesome. Ah, there's that level up. I was gonna say another level up, but I forgot we rolled back. I hear guys, but I don't see them. Are they up here? Yeah, no, keep fighting Jake down there. Grenade. Fire the grenade! Stupid controller. There we go. Is that everybody? Oh, that was weird. Controller drift for a second. What do you think, Aiden? Got anything to say?
Perfect. You two take that elevator down. I'll hold position. Now we'll let a single gun past this point. Once a white piece of bastards out.
Okay, we'll go save Aiden. Path. Basement. Come on, Jake. Let's go.
Going down.
Alright, so far so good. Let's see if this works now. When we were planning this out, part of me really wanted us to have an option for when you go with Aiden to just jump through the glass window and like have like a little cutscene
Should
there.
have known it would be
Whoop.
you. Who else would be dumb enough to pull this kind of shit? I warned you. But you didn't listen. So now you're gonna pay for crossing the gunners.
All right, let's see if we can
Hold on. I have some
pull this
questions
off
first.
I suppose there's no
All
harm.
right, well, we don't need to listen to this. We all heard this. No more questions.
Well,
let's talk.
Wait a second. Let's just.
Are you slow, or do you read?
You're making a
Let's
big
see. Can we
mistake
pass?
Here. You can still do the right thing. Just think this through.
The hell are you?
Hey, passed it that time.
about?
All right, let's see if we can pass the hard one with my 9 charisma.
Oh, yeah?
Hey, look at
Well,
that.
what do you
See, that's what I
suggest
expected to
do
happen last
instead,
time.
Huh?
Get out of here, and don't come back.
Nah. You know what? Screw this. I'm sick of you trying to mess with my head. You want to take on the rest of the plaza? Fine. Be my guest. Here, this key card will let you take the elevator to the 2nd floor. Go get yourself killed by Wes.
Hold on. I believe you've got some of mine. My pistol. Hand it over.
Yeah, sure. Whatever. Just shut up and get out of my way.
Look at that. See, the Gatling laser works fine here.
Everything he did.
Just
Never
doesn't
took
work
that guy
in the main
Guess
cell
you
for
can
some
never
reason.
tell.
First floor. All right, so
All right, Slick. You've got the key card.
what are you doing, Berman? Just
I'm gonna
hanging
stay
out.
down here. I reckon I can cause a diversion or two. Take some of the heat off of you. You go find the comm hub.
Don't worry. I'll find it.
I know you
There
will.
he goes.
Best of luck.
Okay, so now I want to test something. So save. So it looks like everything's working. So I don't know what was breaking the Aiden line for some people. Post basement. So I want to see I'm going to show you the last difference with the Aiden path here. Post basement Aiden. I might have to finish the whole thing before it happens, but I want to go check. So you guys remember Aiden said, "I won't let a single gunner get past me." We'll see if it worked yet, or if that happens like after you do the rest of the quest. I don't remember. Okay, so now I think what happens is after you finish, so yeah, he's not fighting. After you finish the rest of the West thing, you'll come up here and you'll find Aiden dead on the, or Berman dead on the roof. Aiden will have killed him. So that is, that's what I was checking if it happened already. But we're going to our canon ending. Let's go talk to our NPCs here. All right, oops, I just accidentally kicked my my mic and headphones set up and couldn't hear anything for a second. All right. Oh, this thing's only got 7 rounds. I was like, is this thing not reloading? I need some rounds for that. Okay, everything's reloaded. There we go. Hey guys.
Hey there. Shanty hasn't been bothering you, I hope. He's a good
This is
kid,
one of the things
but
on my
he does
short
test
list to
people's
resolve
patience
is
from
giving
time to time.
Jared, Simon, and Lena some post talk for this particular moment because everybody else has it, but they don't for some reason.
It's good to see you again. How's your partner?
Oops.
He
That's
recovered
still
from the whole
that's still
kidnapping
misconditioned.
thing? Aiden said he's tougher than he looks. That he'd bounce back in no time.
I have this marked as fixed in one of the
he's fine.
in
He
one of the
is.
bug fix notes.
I'm glad.
So I gotta put this back on my
When I
list.
sent my men to retrieve Evans, I
So this
gave
is something he's
precise
supposed to
instructions
say
not to harm him.
when
I should have known
you
Berman
meet him
disobeyed
in
my orders.
Vault 81.
And I should have never trusted him to bring back your
Opening up a new
Carvak.
pack of note cards. I just finished one today.
I wanted to stop Wes from
More bug
getting his hands
reports.
on it.
All right, so
Instead, my actions delivered your help
Algernon.
right to him.
Dialogue for Vault 81 misconditioned. And fires during, what is this one? MQ, I think it's MQ 23, 24? What is this one? Can't remember. Well, I'll just call it Battle for GNN. All right, got it on my desk list. Those end up getting tackled before everything else because I know I have saves for them. All right, I better go.
Get going.
Right.
Now let's see if I talk to him again. Oops, blank line from the player.
At this point,
there we
I
go.
think we're past formalities.
All right, another
Call me
bug.
Algernon.
Missing player line captain.
Pleased you showed mercy when attacking the plaza. Were roles reversed, I'm unsure Wes would have done the same. As a group, the gunners are over. But Aiden was right when he warned you. There'll still be soldiers out there, so don't let your guard down.
So this is what's supposed to happen right here, where you say captain and he tells you about this. That other part was meant to happen back at Vault 81.
What will you do now?
I intend to travel the Commonwealth, track down any remnants of the gunners I can find. I'll offer them a chance to join me and start a new group, one based on the old ideals of the gunners. I doubt many will accept, but I feel it's worth the effort.
You said there are gunners out there?
There are gunner squads stationed all over the Commonwealth and beyond. With Wes gone and the plaza fallen, many will simply disband. However, others may choose to reform into splinter factions, continue on under new leadership.
It's been an honor.
Back when I led the gunners, they were a very different group. But in less than a decade, they devolved into what you know today. So, I hope you don't misunderstand my meaning when I say, if we'd have met 10 years ago, I would have been honored to have you join the gunners.
I guess this is goodbye.
For now. There are things I need to attend to, but I'm sure we'll meet again.
All right, let's see. And I think there's Lupe and Teresa, Aiden, and Lupe. I think I have stuff to say too. Maybe not. Let's see. How about you, Lupe? Oh, I think I gotta talk to Jake first. There we go.
We did it. We defeated the Gunners. Any remaining troops have either fled or have surrendered. It's over. We got the comm hub back. The Commonwealth is safe. We won.
You okay?
Oh, I'm fine.
Notice my new armor? You recognize it? Oh, I guess nobody would recognize it. That was actually one of the bummers in when we were planning out the story. We couldn't come up with a great way to like have the player have an interaction with Wes that didn't feel contrived. Like we already had to bend over backwards to make you have several encounters with Berman in person, and so like then trying to force that with Wes would have been too much.
So we're done with the Gunners?
I agree. It's too early to count them out.
And what's that supposed to mean?
We just dealt the Gunners a serious blow, one they may never recover from. Their plans for conquest are over. But let's not deceive ourselves. It's not as if all of them have suddenly disappeared. Thanks to your charity, a large number were allowed to escape. And let's not forget all the Gunners who are stationed elsewhere, or who are out on patrol.
I didn't catch that broken line, Sir Rick. Can you put it on the bug report list and we'll get it fixed later?
Some are dead. Some got away. What's the difference?
You can't be that naive.
Boy, you really know how to put a damper on things, don't you?
I'm just saying, we shouldn't count the Gunners out.
Yeah, well, for now, I'm just glad we got the comm hub back. Thank you, Slick. I don't think there's anything I could say that would truly express gratitude. But I hope you know how much I appreciate everything you've done. And without sounding too corny, I really consider you my closest friend.
I gotta say, we need to throw another vote out there. Do I continue? Do I continue it? I think we started this. What's the vote thing? Create a vote. I don't even need a question. You guys know the question. So I want to say and give props to SAG here that despite like the little dialogue issue with Algernon right there, this is run really smooth. I just played through it multiple times without issues. Like it was, the issues were just like little hiccup things like dialogue not working exactly as expected. Like, but that's pretty minor considering how complicated the scene was with all those different allies and scripted moments and everything. So kudos, SAG, way to go. This really worked well. Yes, 81%. I don't even need to wait any longer on the poll. Of course, you guys want me to do it, but let's see if I pass. Let's see if I pass or not.
Have you ever thought about us becoming more than just friends?
Always flirts.
Wait, what?
Says.
But I mean, I didn't think you'd. I mean, don't get me wrong.
If you start to flirt, you have to keep flirting. Them's the rules.
Not to mention easy on the eyes. And I'd be lying if I said I'd never thought about you that way. But I just never thought someone like you would be interested in someone like me. I guess I was wrong. But let's talk more about this later, all right? All right, I'll start getting things wrapped up here. I need to go check over the hub. Hopefully the gunners haven't damaged it. And thanks again, Slick. I'll contact you again soon. Until then, why not check in on the folks at Concord? Or maybe some of our own settlements. Up to you, of course. Anyway, I'll catch you later.
Good to see you.
Okay, now let's see if everybody else got some. Oh, we already spoke, Algernon. Your turn's over.
Excuse me.
It's you.
Thanks, Aiden.
We can expect some peace and quiet for a while. But don't go thinking this is the last we've heard from the Gunners.
What happens now?
I don't know. We've just created a power vacuum in the Commonwealth. There was no avoiding it. We did what had to be done. But now I'm left wondering, what comes next?
How long do you think the peace will last?
Could be months, could be days. Depends how quickly the Gunners can regroup and organize. But the main threat has been dealt with. The Commonwealth is no longer at risk of subjugation. At least, from the Gunners.
I just wanted to check in, make sure things were all right between us.
We both got what we wanted from this arrangement, so yeah, I'd say we're good. And I'd be hoping to us working together again sometime. Maybe.
We'll talk later.
Yeah, sure.
All right, where are Lupe and Teresa?
you.
There's
Hey.
Teresa.
Not bad. Not bad at all. I mean, even the old Minutemen couldn't defeat the Gunners. And you just did it by assaulting their headquarters, no less. I guess people were right about the Minutemen. Maybe it was time for some new blood.
What are you going to do now?
I suppose I should head back at some point, let the others know the news. But for now, I think I'll hang around for a bit. It's been kinda nice helping you guys out. Reminded me of times past and all that.
What's people's problem with the Minutemen?
The way they were, the Minutemen were just no good no more. People couldn't rely on them. That's why I left. And look, I don't mean to say nothing bad about them. It's just real impressive that you did what they couldn't. That's all.
Thanks. You were a big help.
Ah, don't sweat it. I just did what I could. Anyway, I still kinda owed you for the whole ASAM thing. You gave us a new home. And that ain't something I'm gonna forget.
See you around.
Sure thing.
All right, and then Lupe. Yep, you really want to talk, Lupe. You've said oh, hello like 3 times to me. Oh, you should maybe stand up so I can see you.
Hi.
That was really something. I hope everything will be okay now.
I think I have it listed on my notes somewhere to
attacks
take
or
off
anything?
Lupe and Jake's helmets in here so that way when they're looking at you from weird angles, you can actually see their eyes.
You handled yourself well.
Really? You think so? I'm glad. I was super worried I'd mess up somehow. But if you think I did good, then I must have. I'll be honest though. I was scared the whole time. I don't know how you're always doing this kind of thing.
It would have been impossible without your help.
Thanks. But I can't take much of the credit. I just did all the calculations and stuff. Anyone could have done it, really. As long as they understood transcendental geometry, of course.
Is transcendental geometry a real thing, Surik, or is that you making up gobbledygook? Because I could believe it either way.
All safe.
It sounds real. It
I
sounds
hope
real.
so. The Commonwealth has been so turbulent lately. Too many people getting caught up in things so much bigger than they are. I wish we could do more to help.
See you later, kid.
Okay, see ya.
All right, I think that's the. Actually,
Oh,
I want to
it's
say I think Jake has one more piece of dialogue. If we go chase him down, let's go check. I'm pretty sure that's the case. Going back to some questions while we're wandering over there. James Roden, do the Gunners actually disband from locations in the world at the end of this chapter? They do not, because we didn't want to break vanilla quests. They do stop the assaults, the non-stop assaults on your settlements, though.
Oh, hey. I'm just looking over the comm hub. Sure, it's nice to see it again. But I really should give it the once-over. Make sure the Gunners didn't break anything. You know, despite my prior worries, I'm glad we did all this.
How's it going?
Surprisingly, the comm hub's in pretty good shape. And I could be wrong, but I think they may have upgraded it. There's at least 3 new components in here, all Vault-Tec brand. Don't ask me how, but I think the Gunners may have finished repairing the hub for us.
How long will it take?
I'm not too sure. I don't want to try moving this thing until I know exactly what the Gunners have done with it. I'll let you know once I've made a full assessment.
I wouldn't have made it without your help.
I don't know about that, but I'm glad I could lend a hand. We've come a long way from dealing with the odd raider or feral. Makes me wonder what the future has in store. Guess we'll find out.
I'll leave you to it.
Thanks.
It's funny how many
See you
times I
later.
watched Let's Players doing this, and they're like, all right, that's got to be the end of chapter 2, right? And then like 12 episodes later, they get to the end. Another one I thought I fixed. I had
Doubtful.
I had done a bunch of changes to make Wise leave like earlier. I think there's a lot of weird AI issues where people who are part of scenes kind of get stuck with what they were doing because a lot of these NPCs should have been doing something, but they all get cleaned up after the quest, like after we leave and stuff, so it's not a big deal. Just kind of funny. Carvak, thank you for the donation. Find the vault suit. Good point. Let's go see if that's in there. Let's see if we need to add that to the list of immersion breaking things we need to fix, because we should make the camera point at it. Like, that's just like it would be such a quick change too to add that. It's just like add an alias and change one little bit. Let's see, do we see a vault suit anywhere, or do we need to get that resolved? Searching through the corpses. Oh good, I'm strong enough to pick them up. Oh, is that a live mine? No, that's the one I dropped. What about you? No, there's good old Naked Wes. Let's see a vault suit over here. Let's see, over here. Yeah, I'm not seeing a vault suit anywhere. Maybe it was, like I said, maybe it was in the vanilla cell and then it got accidentally removed when we were setting this up. Oh, there's some pastor's vestments if we needed those. A lot of interesting gear in here. Yeah, looks like we need to add a Volt suit for that line, and then make sure the camera points at it when the player chooses that line. So another small thing for the Git repo. All right, cool. Well, I'm pretty satisfied with that. It played out pretty good. Hopefully the next one goes smooth as well, and we can keep showing you guys. But yeah, the Aiden thing, the path's not entirely different. I mean, it ends up in some major things though, because it's not just that Algernon doesn't help in the battle. He actually like leaves, and he's no longer your ally when you decide to do that, and that will have some implications for people in chapter 3. And then and then you cannot leave Berman alive with Aiden. So it sounds like the worst path, but I mean, it kind of is, right? You're being real brutal when you choose Aiden's path of just like, let's murder everybody, because I think they got a good point that you know, there's probably more Algernons and Lupes out there. It's kind of, I think it's the old stormtroopers on the Death Star. Like, how many of them are just contractors and plumbers? Like, there's what? What's going on, Caravan Guard? You're still angry at us? We didn't hit you. All right, now I got to see how many corpses can I loot here. In just a few minutes, I'm not going to do any more story stuff, mostly because it's gonna. I think there's like a 48-hour waiting period, and I want to get hanging out with you guys for a bit. But I am going to loot a little bit, and then we're going to bring Carvak on. Let's talk about city plans and whatnot. Let's do some looting. Let's reap the rewards of that epic battle. I don't know how many of them are actually going to still be here, because I know the game will despawn a lot of this. Give me your loot. So as we move into having a guest on and everything, basically it's going to be pseudo podcast, but we'll engage with you guys a lot. So I'll read off questions and whatnot from you all. So if you have them for me or for Karvak, get them queued up. But I'll pull Karvak on soon. We'll do a little intro, talk about, for those of you guys who aren't familiar with him, talk about his background and stuff. And I have some questions in mind to ask. And then we'll go from there. And it's just going to be a hangout with me, Karvak, and chat for probably another hour and a half. Usually I'll go till about midnight. Some days you guys have gotten me up and running until 1 in the morning, which is fine. As long as we're having a good time, I'll stay up for a while. Oh, that another just straight garbage. Legendary. Oh, I'm not even keeping that one because it's putting me overweight. Let's see here. Junkies baseball bat. Have I actually? I need to check. Am I still? Do I finally have what do you call it? Addiction? Is that what that little symbol is there? Show effects. RB. Jet addiction. I was wondering when I was gonna get jet addiction. I've been sucking that stuff down like candy. What do we got out here? Oh, there goes the despawn. I was like, stuff's got to start despawning soon. Like, there were so many bodies out here. Well, I got a pretty good amount of loot. Oh, do we got a little? Yeah, Gunner Private's arm socket or whatever that was. A little chunk of flesh had some stuff for me. How about over here? I need like a loot detector mod. Okay, that's enough. All right, let's head back to. Look at all these defend. We're gonna just ignore those for now. Well, I got another one. Maybe we'll go through and clear them. I'll go clear them for fun, just to shoot some people, because that's always a good time. Let's go back to Sanctuary, though. I am gonna park myself here like usual. Oh, Nautrick, drop a beacon for that loot. Yeah, I should have done that. Oh well. Shoot you on Gary Settler when? Here we go. And I think, yeah, I have the power grid stuff enabled right now, so if we run into problems with that, it should fix itself right away. But yeah, I gotta show you guys this other thing I worked on, but I'll do that a little later. I'm sure Karvak will bring it up because I'm sure he's excited about it. It's just like one more tool for the tool belt. Hey, look at that. We got our level 3 weapons shop here. We got a whole bunch of upgrades here. What's going on with this thing? This looks like something went wrong. I don't think that either that's... Yeah, it looks like this thing didn't finish its upgrade. Let me try to freshen it.
Want to do some work?
No, I'm not. Walk away, Sturgis. Actually, I think last stream I said I was going to talk to Sturgis and see how much of his quest would just autocomplete, and I totally spaced on it. I want to see if that was just a bug from... Yeah, some of those things just got stuck from being remote. That's one of the reasons we had to add the refresh plot. This game does not like you changing things remotely. It is just not a fan of it. So like the whole almost everything we're trying to do in some settlements with its core systems of the game is just like, no, I want nothing to do with that, because it just wasn't designed for this sort of thing. All right, let's go LP day 17, end of session. And then we're gonna go to my favorite time of day. Let's see, set game hour to 11. Force weather to nice and sunny for 2B52A. And we force down the time scale. 0.1. Nope, forgot the 2. I don't know why. I'll just let it look at it recognizes missing 2 in set command. Well, then just infer it. Game set. Oh, I did it wrong. Set time scale 2. There we go. All right, and now we'll put down the gun so you guys can actually see. Oh, what is that building over there that run up to? Is that there? Oh, that's our comms is up to level 3. Sweet. Okay, here. Lachlan Williams, thank you for the donation. Hey, me again. CPD issues still. I turned off all mods apart from any SS2 ones, and the quests are still bugged. Any advice what to do next? I mean, the best thing to do is just post your issues on our forums, and hopefully some people can advise you there, or they can get me reproducible steps, because that's ultimately what it comes down to. I know there's known issues with the bounties. Those I know don't work. I just haven't tackled them yet. It's on my list to do. I've been I bounce around between a lot of different types of issues. Like I'll do a little bit of quest fixing, then I'll go deal with some deep systems issues. Like I fixed something yesterday or the day before that was like a major deep issue that I finally figured out. Oh, the plots locking up. Have you ever guys found where some of your plots that get built will say something along the lines of this plot is busy, and like try again later and it never goes away? I finally figured out what was causing that, and I got that fixed. So some of that sort of stuff I tackle, and then I'll bounce around and do some quest fixes. So CPD's on the short list. I just don't know when I'm going to get to it because there's so many reports. All right, let's bring on Carvak here. And let's see if you guys can hear him all right. Hello, how are you?
All right, so do you hear me?
I hear you fine. Let's why don't you speak a few sentences so people can tell us if your volume's good or if we need to change it in some way.
Yeah, sure, not a problem. Can everybody hear me clearly? Am I coming through nicely, or do I need to up my end?
Drop the volume of the game. What's everybody say? Just need a few. Yep, that sounds good.
Yeah,
you're a
little low.
A little low. Here, like
maybe that's better.
There we go. Yeah, that sounds great to me. You're not burning my ears out. Okay, never mind. Sounds good. Okay, cool. Everybody can hear you. They sound they're a little quiet, but I turned down the game sounds. Hopefully that'll help. And yeah, everyone's saying
could be
fine. Sounds good.
Cool. Could just be my end.
So Carvak, how are you tonight?
I'm great and enjoying my afternoon.
Oh yeah, middle of the afternoon for you. You're on the other side of
the it's only 1 p.m.
Nice. So when I'm ready to crash, you're gonna be going strong in the middle of your day.
I just enjoy the rest of my afternoon. Go walk the dog. Yeah.
Nice. So you've been a pretty active part of the community for a couple of years now, because you were doing how many city plans would you say you've done now? Because I went to go do a count and I could only find your SS2 ones easily, and your
all the SS1 ones were released by you guys.
Right, they're part of the pack.
I gave you the save files, and then you would put them into the packs, yeah.
Right. So I know you've got
I think I did
what do you have in SS2 so far? Like 12 or 13 in SS2?
Release 3, yeah, 12 sounds about right. Yeah. I could give it a quick look. Other people are getting up there too, so I'm really liking how more people are releasing more settlements and more city plans.
Yeah, it's awesome to see. And we've had quite a load of people participate in almost every single competition for SS2, like you and Gavman, and there's a couple others who are just in it as regulars, and a lot of them making the top 3 over and over again too. And I think that part of that is the experience, and then I think you guys kind of riv off of each other and inspire each other to do bigger and better things when you're hanging out. But anyway, I don't want to skip this point of like, how many do you think you did for SS1? I'm curious how many city plans you think you have under your belt in total, because I entered
every month.
You did every month. Awesome. Did you start with before Conqueror? Because I remember you got really excited. You were really into Raider stuff. Like you really engaged.
I love the Raider stuff.
Yeah,
I love the whole content of it. It's my stick. I've been playing Fallout since it came out. I actually have 2 profiles on Steam, and they both have over 5,000 hours.
Holy Jesus.
So I know it's crazy. My wife says that I just play The Sims with the radiation and guns, and she's not wrong. Because that's all I do. I look at the main quest line and go, I'll do it one day after I've built this settlement. And then I just build another settlement. I sat on the sidelines and actually watched. So I entered in just after, what is it? Not last season, season before. You did the Masters on Spectacle Island,
Yeah.
and I went, "Oh my god, I should have entered because I would love to have built there." And then I just haven't stopped since then. I'm like, nah, that's it. I'm now entering into these competitions because I wanted to.
Those Masters of Spectacle Island, like, I had no idea you could do that, right? Like, the settlements that people turned in were insane. Even like
Absolutely
not just the
agree.
top 3. There were like 7 of them that were worthy of top 3. They were so insane.
It would have been a hard choice as a judge.
Oh,
I would have hated to have been on the judging panel for that.
It was extremely tough. It was extremely tough. They all have it. This last month contest was extremely tough. I think we had like a 6-way tie for top 3, and it was just a couple of votes that made the difference. It was like, I'm trying to remember who else. Like, somebody was their first one. I think it was Velen, who's usually in the chat. I don't know if you are today, but they were like just a couple votes shy of making top 3. Tark was just a couple votes shy. There was so many great entries last month. So that was a tough one. But yeah, the Masters is always like that. Like, people bring out their A game. Speaking of Masters, that is starting in like 8 days. Actually, I have it on my to-do list tomorrow to send out the invitation emails. So we're a little behind this year. Yeah, the settlement we're going to wait to announce until on the 28th because I don't want anybody getting a head start.
Fair.
But yeah, we're a little behind on announcing all that stuff, mostly because I was waiting. I didn't want to announce it all until we had prizes locked in, because I was hoping to bump up the prize support a bit, and we were able to. We finally have something that's going to be close to a trophy. Have you seen?
Oh wow!
Are you familiar with displates? Have you ever had?
I am. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. We're going to create a custom displate for people who participate in the Masters, and then we're going to have a different version of it, like probably some variation of it for first and second, and then a final variation for first, so those can kind of act like trophies, which I think will be cool. That's something I think we missed out. We should have had in every season with some sort of trophy. I remember reaching out to some people on Etsy trying to see if we could get like some actual statues made, and I just have never found anybody who was willing to do what I had in my head. So, but
crazy.
So, are you still enjoying the city plan after 2 years? I guess you've been doing it nonstop for 2 years then. If you missed out on the first season, you've been doing it pretty much every month. I think you've taken a month or two off here and there, but it's been...
I do sometimes take breaks, and I don't really like to revisit settlements where I've already made one where I've gone, I'm super happy with this. I feel like anything I build here, I'm just going to recreate it. Like, I feel like I'm going to go... a good example would be my Red Rocket. I built a really nice car yard, like the dilapidated car yard, which then spreads out. And every time I go, I'll build at Red Rocket, I build the same thing. And I'm like, I need to go elsewhere. I can't build in this settlement anymore for a comp because I'll just create the same thing again. It felt a bit like that when I was doing last month's at the castle. I'm like, I'm doing another raider base at the castle. Let's make it different.
Yeah.
Let's make it more a place where all the raiders come together to just have a great time. So it's got bars, it's got the massive 3x3 recreation plot, it's got all the fun stuff.
Nice. The you will love the plan we have that still never made it in. It might still make it one day, but we that Wasteland Theater that we have, that was originally supposed to be part of Conqueror, and we were gonna have if you built it in a settlement with Jammer and the gang, then Jammer, Ophelia, and Maul would all have little things they would go up on stage and do as like Easter eggs. That was going to be...
that's cool.
That was going to be something that we had on... That was originally when we conceived all that. Like, Andy Cowdy, who wrote all the stage plays, like he was probably thinking that was a dead project. It was never going to happen, and then I resurrected it for us as too, because that was... I love that plot. I think that's really cool to see those little things play out.
It adds so many NPCs to a settlement, so I like to put lots of animation markers.
Yeah.
And then I like to use... So I found out back in SS1 days that the weight set or the pommel horse act as kind of like a recreational pull point, like the bars do. So when settlers are on their downtime, they'll move towards these points. So you get them and you just stick them in the ground. like just below the surface. They can't get to it, but
okay.
they go towards it.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, I'm in this location. There's 40 animation markers. I'll better use one of these animation markers.
Nice.
And now you've made your settlement feel way more alive. And if you spread them out, when they're on their downtime, you don't have 50 settlers sitting around one bar, standing around going, yeah, can I have a drink? They're all spread out, and it's pretty
You
cool.
mean like in my settlement right in front of us there? There's just like a pile of all the visitors. Are just
Yeah, this is the
piled around
pile
the
of people at the bar. Yeah, if you did that little trick, they just spread out everywhere, and
That's
it
a
gives
good-
your settlement that little extra bit of life.
Yeah, that's a good idea, especially the below the ground, because that pommel horse animation is funny, but it's really stupid, right? Like no,
Yeah,
why
like,
is random settler is like is an insane acrobat, especially when Mama Murphy
is
does
an Olympic gymnast. It's like, why?
Yeah, ridiculous.
I find weights are fine. I'll leave a couple of those around, especially with a raider settlement. It makes sense that they want to get jacked because they need to fight people off. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, the weights make sense, but yeah, that pommel horse was always ridiculous. It was really funny the first time, and then I was like, this thing's kind of dumb. Jim Zyman, thank you for the donation. So, Carvak, thanks for the amazing city plans. What are your PC specs? I'm pretty top of the line, and your plans really push my machine hard. Yeah, that is a good question. Are you running NASA system over there, Carvak?
No, I've just got an i9 water cooled. Was it 3080? I've actually got more RAM than what I linked. I've got 64 gig.
That's a pretty beefy system, I think. Like, I feel like processors have kind of like plateaued. I feel like I haven't seen any like major changes in processor tech. That's like, so once you get up to 9.9, you're doing pretty damn good. 3080 is nothing to gawk at. I mean, half of us can't even get them because of the shortages. So that sounds like a pretty.
I was paying the butt.
System. Yeah,
I had to wait a long time for that. So I had an old system which was limping along, which I upgraded at the same time as I did. Sorry, I need water.
Not a problem.
My lighthouse.
Okay.
When I did the lighthouse build after that, I upgraded. I spent about $7,000 and just jumped into like the top of the range that I could for the time.
Sure. Yeah, I remember. I used to do that all the time. Of like when I was seriously into PC gaming, not just addicted to one game. I'd wait like it was like once every 6 or 7 years. I was like, all right, I'm gonna buy the best of the best, and then it'll hopefully last me until I can afford it again one day. As opposed to like the piecemeal upgrades. Now I do the piecemeal upgrades because I play the same game all the time, so I don't really need one. It's just I got to replace broken parts now.
I got to the point where I was like, well, I'm building these settlements and I'm reducing my frame rate to 5, and I'm like, wow, that's not good for me because I want to enjoy my settlement. So I got to upgrade this PC.
Yeah, you're gonna be under some pressure for the masters because we're a little more anal about build limit. Which
I read the rules and I was like, ooh,
yeah,
all right. To stay within the build budget's probably going to be my biggest problem, because I've been building my settlements level 0, 1, 2, 3, like upwards,
right?
Instead of going to 3 and then bring it backwards. So I'm going to probably have to go to 3 and go backwards.
Yeah, you'll definitely have to rethink some of your strategies in that because you definitely just kind of just do craziness that's not going to work. Like we're never going to put your building plans on Xbox when we eventually do the mega packs because there's just no way that they're going to be able to hang.
No, I've concluded and come to I'm resolute on that option that unfortunately Xbox will not be able to use my plans because I don't want to destroy your tech. I make the joke that I will burn PCs, but
yeah, Xbox.
It's not that bad. Xbox will just melt. I reckon you just get constant crashes, or you be constantly thrown back to your menu. Like you would just brick your thing, and I don't want to do that to you.
Yeah, it's not. I think Xbox has trouble with city plans in general, which is one of the reasons that we put together that single level set of city plans to ship with SS2 is like those are totally tame. You can run those on Xbox. That was kind of like
I've actually got some really good ideas. I look at those plans and go, "Huh, I never thought about that." Yoink.
That was most of them. I don't want to say most of them. I don't remember. Well, they have the names on who did them. I know Strong did a bunch of them. And Strong was our lead designer for Rise of the Commonwealth, so he's clearly got some really good settlement ideas. He's in your camp of he plays Fallout. Well, not as much anymore. I think we burned him out on Rise of the Commonwealth, but he used to just be nonstop playing Fallout 4 from build mode. Yeah, he's got some pretty cool ideas. But yeah, I think the build limit thing for Masters is going to give you some pause. You're going to have to rethink how you do stuff. But we tend to do it about 2.5 times over vanilla, so it's a pretty decent build limit. But one of the things I always suggest people do in the contest to help with that is to set your what do you call it, the performance options from
Yes.
your building plans, turn those off, put them all to 0, because
Yep.
then less stuff gets created in the plots, and your build limit will stay a little bit.
Another thing you can do is don't fully upgrade the plots either.
Right.
If you keep them at lower levels, there's less stuff spawned, which means it's not taking from your build budget.
Right. Though because of but then even that's going to be pressure on you with the masters, because we look at every level and we look at how it looks like, because we'll actually, when we judge it, we actually go, what we've done in the past 2 seasons, and I see no reason for us to stop, is we build a Wabbajack load order of exactly the loads that everyone had, so that when we pass out the judging to everybody on our team, they get to see exactly what the person who submitted, because we don't want it to be, we're a little looser, we're a little more loosey goosey with the month to month, because we, it's supposed to, we want to keep it casual. With the masters, there's cash on the line, we got to take it more seriously. Now did you make it to the finals last Masters? I think you did.
Yeah, I was in the top 3.
Yeah, for sure. What was your experience like with the Masters? Did you enjoy the extra pressure?
I mean, I always like it. I don't really see it as extra pressure. It's more just, you go, all right, I could leave. An example would be, all right, so you've got a dock and you place down a boat, right? And you go, that's fine, I've got a boat. But for Masters, you go, maybe I'll put all the stuff inside it. And maybe I'll decorate it up. Maybe I'll put some fishing gear here. Maybe I'll have a step down to it. Maybe I'll put like a satellite on it. And maybe I'll decorate it up, put some lights on it. So now that boat now has 20 extra more bits. That in a normal plan, you've chucked down a boat, you've moved on. People look at the boat and go, oh, it's a boat, and move on. But I've been doing that stuff non-stop. So now I go, all right, well, how do I up that ante to master? And you're like, well, this is where the difference in the levels then becomes more important in the story you're telling, because you're already bringing in the detail, which you think masters should have. You've been doing it in all your monthly competitions, and nearly every single person in the builders Discord, as you can see by the plans coming out, they're pushing that hard as well. So it's like the caliber of plans have become so much more detailed.
Yeah.
That now we're going into Master, you're like, well, how do we up that? And you're like, So then you're thinking grander, bigger, more spectacle. And I think that's where we are. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we've had since the beginning. Like, I think the season 1 with Spectacle Island, like, I think the space encouraged it, and we ended up with people doing crazy things with the spectacles. Season 2 we did in Sanctuary, and I think people were a little more subdued with their builds as far as going big. They didn't try and do big epic giant things, but instead everybody did really like sprawling wide, which feels right? Like, feels like Sanctuary lends itself to building. You want to build a big residential city because you have all these structures you can't get rid of. So it'll be interesting to see what people do with this year's choice. I'm a big fan of the settlement we have for it, and some of you who are in the city plan contest a lot have probably deduced what it is, but I'm still waiting till the 28th to confirm and reveal it. Yeah,
we've got a pretty good idea of where we're going.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what everybody does with it, and yeah, like you said, the caliber and like the people have stepped up their game with season 2, and it's you guys are all rubbing off on each other. Like, even when I see people new who join in, like last month, we had a crazy amount of entries out of nowhere. I don't know if it was because people wanted to get in last minute before make sure they got a master's invite, or they liked the cities we chose, because I think was that Castle.
Castle's always going to be popular.
Yeah, Castle's a super popular one. I think that might have been part of it too. People have a lot of good ideas for Castle because it's a fun place to build. But yeah, tons of entries, and they were all so good, which even from some people I hadn't seen city plans from. So I'm glad to see that people are so inspired by this. So tell me about talk about to everybody who's watching the Discord channel, because this is one of those things when you started it, I think you were worried I was going to be uneasy about it, and I was uneasy about it. And that I was concerned that it was going to become like a click thing, or that people were going to feel like it was official, because it's not. So guys, if you're talking about the Builders Discord, it's not an official thing by the Sim Settlements team. Carvak runs it. Anybody is welcome. If you are interested in building city plans, or if you just like building in Fallout, I'm sure they'd welcome you.
Or building in other games.
There you go.
Because we've actually expanded in other games. So I do a lot of other stuff like Valheim and other games where you get to build stuff. It's just good fun.
Sure.
Stardew Valley, Stellaris. It's just kind of like, if you like building and you want to hang out with people who are like-minded and you just want to chill and be, not be terrible people, hit me up on the forums and I'll get you in. or shoot me a message. It's easy peasy.
Yeah, there you go. So you guys have been going strong with that for pretty much all of this season. I think you started it a few months into the season, so about a year now probably you've had that server.
Yeah, so I made it for two reasons. One, I spam a lot of my stuff. I spam a lot of photos and a lot of pictures, and I was in your Discord server doing it constantly, and I was like, I'm not really making plots. I'm kind of just using, and I'm like, I feel like I'm just flooding your Discord with superfluous information. So let's just make my own Discord, and then I can annoy everybody who wants to come in there. I'm not necessarily bugging everybody on your end.
Well, it's a nice thing to have. I declined an invite just because I don't want people to feel like it's the official server. But I know people mention it all the time, so I know that it's a healthy, active server, which is great, and it's something that you want, right? Like you want to have people talking about City Plans, getting excited about it, and one-upping each other. Like I've heard tell of a third party about you guys challenging each other to different build styles and stuff, which is really cool to see.
There is where you can opt in monthly challenges. Where a good example would be, I'm a raider builder, but for 10 points, I was challenged. I had to build in wood, and I had to make a Minutemen town. So I made a wooden fort, which is probably one of my best downloads for Sim Settlements Season 2, Sim Settlements 2.
Yeah, that's nice. Minutemen are super popular. It's like as much flack and like much of a meme as Preston is. People love the Minutemen. So like we try to treat them respectfully, unless we are building Conqueror. Jammer and company are like F those guys.
I love Jammer. The way he acts, the quest line for it, I just went, yeah, this is everything I wanted out of Nuka World.
That was
I get the Shank, and I'm going, oh, you're so boring.
Yeah.
Why are you so boring, Shank? I'm going to be talking to you so much, and you're boring.
Jammer started out a little boring. We kind of figured out his voice after we did a couple of content patches. Because I remember when we first did him, he was just like, we just need a Shank. Like, we just need another Shank because we want players to be able to use the pre-build system and just start attacking right from the beginning of the game. But then I remember, we have told this story on this stream too, of like Super Weevil has said like, hey, you mind if I plant some threads in case we go bigger with the story? I got some ideas. And then next thing you know, 18 months of my life pass of building on this story. But yeah, I love talking about Jammer because I think I want to keep him in everyone's consciousness so that they will keep hammering us on the team to be like, guys, you got to push Conqueror to SS2. Because I'm going to need help to convince some people to get on board with that.
As much as I'd love it to be, I'm like, I definitely would love to see the Conqueror questline come to a conclusion. Maybe even Raiders have their own HQ or something crazy like that. I know that that's a lot of work, and
it's a ton of work.
I've been tinkering with the CK recently myself, trying to make plots. Finally. And it's I have these grand ideas, and then I look at the facility, like how to make them happen. I'll go, all right, well, I'm going to cut back on this a lot. I can make the shell, but I have this idea that's crazy. It's like a little 1x1 plot that take the 2x2 advanced security plot with the laser cannon thing.
Okay.
So you know how it moves around when they're sitting on it?
Yeah.
So take that script, but shrink it down, and then give it 4 miniguns and like armored plating, and it's radarized, and it kind of sits there, and it can look down and up and swivels around. It's kind of like a point defense gun.
Yeah.
I can do the shell. I can make the miniguns work, but for the life of me, I can't make it animate.
Oh yeah, that laser cannon has been so much work by several people, especially Sebo.
Yeah.
And like, there's even more coming for that laser cannon. We have a really cool update coming to that laser cannon. Where I think all we need is sound files for it. Ono is even working on fixing the pathing. So like I was able, so one of the, there was a bug report in like August of last year that somebody did, and I just updated it yesterday or the day before. Cause I've been like going back through trying to clean up some of those old reports that I had skipped. Cause I'm like, I got bigger fish to fry right now. And one of the issues people are like, it doesn't seem like the NPCs are ever using it unless I fast travel in, and then some of them will snap into it. And I started doing some tinkering, figured out why. And part of it was because initially that cannon was facing the wrong way in the design. It was facing toward the inside.
Yes, okay.
So the pathing was designed to work with that, and then at some update I spun the cannon around because I'm like, well, that's dumb. People are all building their martial plots facing that way. We need the gun to point that way. So I switched that, not realizing that it was intentionally done that way because of the pathing. So now we figured out, we came up with
the case.
We came up with a compromise that if we rotate the whole building 180 degrees, the gun will stick out the front of the plot. But I figured that's better because no one is building in front of their marshal plots, right? The whole point of having a marshal plot is to be your last line of defense. So I think that'll work out good. Is now the gun will stick way out, but the NPCs should path to it. No, I don't know if it might make it in the next patch. I don't know if Ono finished. But
that's cool.
But I think we'll have that fixed, and we got more cool stuff coming with too beyond that. Because
I love
Sebo's
plots.
been hard at work.
More plots, the better.
I agree.
Much like how you see like your toolbox as a city builder, plots are your toolbox.
For sure.
So you'll run around throwing down plots, and then it's kind of like, well, let's make them feel like they should be here, that they don't stand out. A good example would be you watch other people that play with some settlements and they just chuck them down right next to each other, and you're like, excellent, that's great, that's perfectly fine, and it looks okay. With a city build, you're now making that look like it's not a plot. You're making plots not look like they just are individual things. They fit into the whole settlement themselves, and that's what I like to do. Just make them hide in plain sight.
Yeah,
they're there. Like sometimes I'll take a photo and go like, inside this photo there are 12 pots being used, and people are like, how, where, what are you talking about? I can see 2. You're insane. And I'm like,
yeah, that's. I mean, that
12.
was the dream. That was the dream of city plans, because I build like that, like what you described. If I just plot blast down, you can see like right in front of me. We got a nice little.
I don't want to
little
play
list
for
there.
myself, so.
And it doesn't look bad, but when you look at compared to a city plan that's all plotted out, the city plan looks significantly better.
There's a bit of thought in it.
Yeah, and you don't get the feeling of repetition. We did try and help a lot with that. I don't know if you got here. Let me offer some tips. You guys have probably already figured this out in the city planning community. I'm not going to offer you anything new, but some things that we did. We changed we made it so that the power poles could be scrapped on the plot, and those are actually exported separately. I don't know, does this work? It did during testing at some phase, but a lot of stuff that I had planned early on in the development didn't stick. You're supposed to be able to scrap the power poles on the plots, and then when you export them, that power pole will not be rebuilt when you re-import and put it in your city plan. Does that work, or do they end up spawning every time?
No, they're gone.
Okay, cool. So that was one of the things we did to try and allow for immersion. And then I know the ASAM sensors at some point were removable, and then I think because we came up with this, we found the idea that you could scrap. It was like, oh wait, if we scrap it, we can use it as a trigger and then pop the menu, and then that respawns it. So I think that got removed, but that was at some point too. We had the ability to eliminate the ASM sensor from your plan so that you could completely mask the fact that you were using plots in your designs. But that, unfortunately, the sensors,
no,
you need to have that control object. So, and they're baked.
You can pick the sensor up and move them.
Yeah,
but that doesn't get the moment you refresh the plot, it just goes right back to wherever default position it is for wherever the plot creator made it be as part of the plan.
Right, and I don't think that ends up in the city plan anyway. Like, I think I don't think the position of the ASM sensor gets stored in the city plan.
No, it's defaulted whatever the plot demands it be. So, example would be with your plot right there in front of you to your right, where it's at the end there.
Yeah.
If you pick it up and move it, and then export it, it's going to be right back where it is right now. It won't move.
Yeah. I think we have that's on our short list of features for the future is to have options to disguise them. So like things like turn them into like mailboxes again, or like we had in SS1, we had the little identifier, things like that, like little innocuous objects. And it's just because we need to have some sort of interface. It's too often players need to go tinker with them, so we need something. But now I was happy. I never minded the new ASAM. Like I hated the old ASAM sensor because they were just like a chunk of a laser tripwire. But now that we have these beautiful models in SS2, I actually don't feel quite as bad. And they're like such a key part of the story that it doesn't irritate me as much. So. I'm glad that Surik had the forethought to get our art team to produce those nice models.
I completely agree that the new model for him is fantastic, and I love how in some plots, especially Praz, the vending machines, you can still see the old one for sale.
That's awesome.
the general store is like the old little janky one. Yep.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you say about? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to change us completely off topic, so please finish your thought.
I mean, like, if you could make it so the ASAM plot, if I did move it, was then part of the plan, that would be helpful.
Sure.
So like I wouldn't go grab them all, hide them in a closet. I mean, I might if I was making a joke settlement. So that'd be kind of hilarious.
I mean, from a technical level, it's definitely possible. I think what we'd have to do is make it so that it would only do that if the player used the same building plan, right? If they had because otherwise, you say you move it off to the side, or like you move it to against the wall in the plot, and then they use a different building plan, and all of a sudden the ASAM sensor is covered up. I think that would be
it
my
wouldn't
concern.
make sense.
Right.
So that's why I'm happy with it gives the player the option. They can be like, all right, well, that's in the way, so I'll just pick it up and move it over here. That's obviously what the planner decided, or I just leave it in the notes, like, in front of this building, this ASAM, you can pick it up and move it back. It will then allow people to path around here easier.
Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense.
You just note it down in your plan, so you give the player the choice,
right.
And I think that's fine. You don't really need to go tinkering it on an engine level, because the player has the control to pick it up and move it, or scrap it, or even get rid of the plot. I mean,
right.
At the end of the day, they can destroy the whole settlement and move on to something else. They don't have to use it. So.
Well, and it goes back to I have bigger fish to fry. I've got 200 plus
to
deal with, and an expansion on the way, so bigger things to fry.
Oh, but yeah, completely agree.
It's one of those,
There's too many other things.
There are way too many other things, but it is one of those things that I remember reading suggestion feedback during SS1, and some of those little feedback things came from people worried about immersion, and I tried to add as many of them as I could. One of them was like, they want the flags all blowing in the same direction. I was like, oh, I could do that. I just straighten out the pole, and boom, there we got it for SS2. Another one was the request. One of the requests people had was, I would love if all my plots didn't look the same going down the road, and that's where we added in the toggleable power pole, where you can change the power pole that's equipped with the, and that completely transformed the code. It transformed like everything about SS2's plots had to change dramatically to support that. Like that is why we have the municipal power pole, for example, because the plots no longer have a baked in power pole. I can't transfer power out. The power cannot come from a plot, because you cannot transmit power into the grid wirelessly. Like, it would only work within that radius. So then my choice would have been to do like a full settlement, a 50,000 unit radius where every light would be lit by it, and that's not great. So it was like, so then the municipal power pole became the solution. Speaking of which, Nuke Cell, you asked a while ago, I'm having issues with my advanced power buildings and showing any power increase, and the pylons show red unpowered. It's the only plot I have issue with. My first check would be to make sure you have a settler with at least 5. What is it? Does anybody remember? Is it perception? Is it intelligence for power?
If it's for
the
power,
perception is water. Yeah, make sure they have 5 intelligence working it. The next thing would be try and use workshop frameworks tools to check the power grid. There's a scan tool in the workshop framework menu. You can check your power grid and see if it's busted, or just use the repair option. It might be that. But anyway, making the power pole separate on the plots ended up being a massive overhaul. And then the second big one, people were also asking, in addition to the power poles, is they wanted to get rid of the mailbox that was on every plot, or like the commercial all had that little what do you call it? The little board. And I think we did get rid of that.
Yeah,
I miss it because it was fun seeing the little messages on there. But I left them in, like the textures are in there, so if people want to just put them individually on their plots or create a random cycle.
I think if you added stuff like that into the furniture section of the Sims, into the Sim Settlements 2 build menu.
Yeah.
So when you go in, you have the ability to do stairs, which are the plot stairs that you've got.
Right.
You then had those little boards, and you can then place it, and it just updates with stuff that's relevant to the city. It could be good fun.
Yeah, that would be. I think the way we had it set up before it was totally random. It wasn't like they weren't scripted or anything. It was just they would.
That'd be cool. You just chuck down some signs and they randomly change all the time. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that was how they worked on the commercial plot. But anyway, that was one of the other features. And then the last feature that totally overhauled the way plots work was the request for multi-residence in a plot, which was was that there are some serious hacks going on there. Like, it spawns an invisible object that looks like a plot. So when you hover over the NPCs, you still get that glow that looks like they're assigned to the plot. And then it's like it has to like keep track of all those sub objects, and whenever you assign somebody to the plot, it has to like juggle these sounds. It's real complicated. But I remember like I took all that to heart, all the stuff that especially city planners were really interested in. Like, they wanted more ways to hide plots in their designs so that they just felt like a natural part of the city, like what you were describing.
That's one of the reasons why I'm a huge fan of the 1x1 and the internal. I love big plots. But I find in little hokey places, you can always squeeze in a 1x1 or an internal, where sometimes a 2x2, you're like, all right, so you need to be up there, or you need to be over here, or in some cases, I need to stack you on top of one another.
Well, I was pretty hesitant about adding the 3x3 because of that, because I was just like, man, this thing is like, these become build around, because there's like no good land, there's very few settlements with a good 3x3 space where you can just build without a foundation. Fortunately, we've since then added we've got the dynamic spawning foundation, so it's less of an ordeal. But man, when we were talking about 3x3 and people were requesting it, in fact, there's still requests to this day. I'd be like, oh, can you add more sizes? Like, I want a 4x4, or like, how about weird sizes like 2x3 and 4x1? I'm like, oh, this is nightmare fuel.
I think you were joking when I showed you that gate that I made, and you're like, oh, we should probably build that on a 5x5. And I'm like, no, we're fine. It is too big. Like, I could only see this. I mean, it's a great gatehouse, but really, it's insane.
Yeah.
The one I built for the Warwick farm.
Oh yeah. And then Uwit used to do those giant, what did he call them?
Oh yeah, he's 2x2s that are slightly oversized. Yeah.
Yeah. He wasn't superstructures. It was that's XV's mod. What is the one
that's XV?
Yeah, Uwit had one that it was just like he would do these ridiculous things. It was like
Loved them.
The Diamond City, the whole Diamond City baseball stadium, like stuff like that would be his plot building plan.
Comes from a 2x2. Yeah, Junktown Extreme. That's what Gab just said.
That's what it is. Yeah. That was.
Yeah, you placed down a 2x2 and you'd select random. Now you're staying inside the middle of Diamond City and you'd be like, what the heck? Love it.
That we do have. I asked somebody on the team to experiment with, make a buildable object that's a 4x4 equivalent of a plot, just to see how, is it even usable in workshop mode? Because that was one of the things we had some issue with it with the interior plots, is it's really hard to wrangle them, and 3x3s were problematic when I was first experimenting with them, and I was like, go experiment with 4x4, because while we probably wouldn't do any 4x4 plots in the team, I bet there's some mod author out there who would be like, yeah, I'm gonna run with this and create a whole mess of building plans. And there are some people, and they become build around, right? Even the 3x3s, like you throw a wasteland theater in your settlement, you kind of got to build around that, with the exception of like sanctuary or spectacle, you can squeeze those in. But I think like you start building those 3x3 plots, and they almost become your centerpiece, whether or not you want them to. So a 4x4 would dial it to 11.
I'm trying to think out where you could place it, because the game is surprisingly not very level. So you try to put down a 4x4, you're either going to have it clipping into the ground somewhat, or it's going to be floating up in the air a lot and require a bunch of support. So wherever you place it, you are terraforming that whole area.
Right.
And if you just leave it like that, it's going to look wrong. So then you've got a lot of support work that you need to do around it, or do you have it right up against a bit of wall with like maybe a balcony? How do you make it work?
Right.
And it's doable. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'd have to do it. But
but that's why it feels like it becomes a build around, because you have to put so much support structure in that now all of a sudden it's like the amount of work and building materials you put toward it's like, all right, I guess that's my main thing for the settlement.
I suppose in some settlements you'd do that. So like Sanctuary, you've got those ruined houses which are quite substantial that you could put a 3x3 or a 4x4 down on top of, and it'd mostly be there.
Right.
So that ruined house now becomes a big industry or something like a nice big barracks. So I suppose if the plot choice was just fantastic, I'd make room for it.
It'll work, and I think it works.
Going back to that toolbox,
it works better, I think, in when people have modded loaders, right? If you got scrap everything, or you're using those like simple and clean mod stuff to like completely terraform for you, where you have a lot more flat space. But anyway, we're experimenting with 4x4 just to see if it's feasible, because like it's so one of the things, another thing I changed with SS2, watching how SS1 evolved, was it's a lot easier for people to add for us to add custom plot types than it was in SS1. In SS1, it was to the point where I had to like ask when people would release new plot. And I'm not talking about you guys. A lot of you guys use the term plot where I use the term building plan. And that's for very important reasons. Is like when I say plot, I'm talking about municipal 2x2 or martial interior. Like that's
You're
a
talking
plot.
about the type. Yeah.
Right. And the building plan is the structure that gets built on top of it.
Yes.
And so adding new plots, people kept trying to add new, like before we had martial, which we added with Industrial Revolution, somebody tried to add it themselves, and I had to email them like, hey, can you please not do that? Like having plots that aren't part of the main thing causes a lot of issues. That's no longer the case, but I still would discourage anybody from releasing their own plot types until we're done, right? Because once we're done, like there's some secret tutorials I have held away that, well, there's a lot of functionality available to the mod that I will unleash the community on after we've finished what we want to do. I just don't want to have us step on each other's toes right now. So it's been a lot of stuff. It's like, I know this is coming. I don't want to get them, but like stuff like that, like making custom plot types and stuff will be open to the community when we're done with what we're doing. But I think doing something like
doing the same stuff. Yeah.
Something like 4x4, I think people could have fun with and build around. And then stuff like XV's superstructures or UIT's extreme stuff would suddenly have a place where it wasn't totally overlapping the edges. I think 3x3 helped a lot with that.
3x3s, I feel like haven't gotten the same kind of love that definitely the 2x2, and that's just because they're newer. I think there are more people building 3x3 stuff out there, just haven't released it or
it's a lot more work. I mean, even a 2x2,
I completely agree.
2x2 takes quite a while, and you're talking about it's more than 2 times the size, because you think about the number of tiles. It's like those, 2x2 is 4 wood tiles, and then a 3x3 is 9 of those. So it's 2.25 times the work to build up and decorate that structure. And usually like building the structure itself doesn't necessarily take a ton longer, but decorating that much more floor space is a big deal. So it's just more work to build those plots, which is why I think less people undertake them. I also think, like we said, it becomes a build round. It's less utility. So I think there's more. You see more people inspired to make the smaller ones because they know they'll get a lot of use.
I mean, and I kind of do encourage a lot of builders to continuously produce internals, because I'm a little bit I suppose selfish in that regard. I'm like, yeah, make more stuff that I'll use because I'll use it. Please go ahead.
I think I was talking. I don't remember who, if it was with Choo Choo or XV, somebody. We were talking about how it would be a cool idea. We should put out like a list, almost like a bounty board on the wiki of like the total number of each class and each size, like a chart, so that people could quickly identify shortages of being like, oh, there's like 0, 1x1 tax services or whatever. It's just like fine, so people can find the holes and fill them in, because there's
that would be pretty neat, actually.
That would be I think it would be a cool tracker for people to see, and like maybe highlight the ones that are missing. We have 0 plans with like a darker color or something, so you just at a glance, people would be like, oh, I can go make one of those, because I know a lot of people who are working on add-ons. They're often like, what do people want? Like, what do you guys still want? And I think part of, one of the things that inspires people to keep working on this stuff, I'm sure it inspires you some, is when you see people downloading and commenting positively on your work. And
absolutely,
filling in those holes would definitely draw a lot of downloads and positivity.
Yeah, well, no, there's a 1x1 caravan service. Tiny Homes, Starmonk.
Oh yeah, let's go back to chat. I did not. That was what I was going to derail us on earlier, but I didn't want to mess up your point, and then I derailed us because I talked too much.
Oh yeah.
So Choo Choo One says,
with a rambler.
Carvak, recommended number of heads on pikes for that proper raider look.
Gotta have at least 12.
At least 12.
Doesn't look right.
If it was, because if you were asking me, I would just say all of them would be the correct number, but 12 is the official number for the Carvak look. Here's another random thing on that topic, heads on pikes. What were your thoughts on, because I know this was a divisive system. I loved it. What were your thoughts on the faction decoration system in Conqueror?
So the faction decoration system allowed you to really customize plots to be more in line with what you're going for with your playstyle. So once again, it's of my viewpoint of more power to the player. If you can give the player tools to play how they want, then you're gonna get downloads. So
for all the skins.
as much as I'm like, I might use them here or there.
Yeah, so I'm not talking about the skins. The skins are, I think everyone loves those. I'm talking about where it would just like spawn random totems and stuff, raider totems all over the settlement. What were your thoughts?
I thought it was great, actually. Because sometimes you just pick them up and move them.
Right.
So you could scrap them if you didn't like them, or you could pick them up and move them to where you thought they were more appropriate. But having them all over the place, sometimes you're like, there's something right in the way of this door. I'll just pick. Because a headcanon, raiders aren't exactly the brightest bunch most of the time. It's just like, all right, just pick this up and move it out of the door, you stupid people. But when you've got other things like the other factions, you're like, sometimes the randomness was annoying, but the fact that you had the control to pick it up and move it, I was like, that's cool. This is cool. This is cool little bits that I couldn't have otherwise made because you don't have the tools to make it. And now I've got control over putting this where I want.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's great.
Yeah, it definitely worked better for raiders than other factions. Like I saw some people like just didn't bother with their faction pack, or they like had to reach. Like I remember the Brotherhood of Steel pack just like did crates of equipment and ammunition. And it's like, yeah, that's a good use of it. But yeah, it was one of those systems where I thought it was really cool. Just for when you go take over a settlement to give it an instant like raider feel, but it was really awkward for any of the other factions. So and the reason I'm asking is because I'm in the process now of porting all the Conqueror code. Like I started that a few weeks ago, and I'm looking over like what stuff should what stuff should make the cut, what stuff should get cut, what stuff should need to be dramatically changed, and the decoration system is on my short list of things that like maybe I definitely am going to be pushing it back on the list. Like it's not a high priority to me, but I've just been curious what other people thought about that, because I always thought it was cool, but I know when I'd watch other people play with it, they were like, why are all, because for half people it would bug out and there'd be items floating in the air because it's hard to do a system like that, like dynamically place things. But
I think a lot of people overestimate how much this system holds you back. The fact that you perform miracles with it, I think people need to give you more credit. Your whole team just, like, it's no joke. The amount of scripting stuff you managed to pull off. I don't even think Bethesda knew that their engine could do this.
So I have 100% proof of that. So there's a Bethesda employee who goes online by SMK Viper, has said to me multiple times, I still don't understand how you made Fallout 4 do what you do with this scripting engine, because I'm always asking, because I happen to have contact information for him just because I've been fortunate with how popular some settlements was, and I've poked him several times asking him about, like, hey, for if you ever do a Fallout 4 Special Edition, or for next game, could you add this feature? Like, I found a way to bypass it, and he's like, I kind of get the feeling from him of like, well, I guess now I'm gonna fill in that hole you made, because that was not intended behavior. So they definitely are not. They were not expecting us to do some of the stuff we did, but I'm sure that's the case for all their games. Of like, I'm sure they're constantly surprised, like some of the stuff mod authors are able to do with Skyrim and whatnot.
I completely agree.
Well, so speaking of scripting, my latest little creation, that's why I popped into workshop mode here. Actually, you know what? I already have a save for it. I can just show people. I think I made a save before that one that I recorded that little video on. I'll show people this.
Is that the one that you put up on the patrons?
Yeah. I'll show everybody that. And
yeah,
hopefully
that's cool.
I'm missing my Chapter 3 test files in this, so hopefully it won't break anything. But while we're waiting for this to load, and before I do it, let's answer a couple more questions here. Not crazy. Ask Karvoc how many GPUs and graphics cards his builds have destroyed, or more likely consoles that have been bricked. But it's funny. Each time I go into one of his, my card sounds like a jet. That's great.
I mean, I'm flattered that you look at the plan and go, maybe my system can handle it, and thank you very much for downloading it. But at the end of the day, like, I understand that my plans are not for everyone. Like they're
your plans, right? So we had we had a guy on our team who went by Bacon Wrangler, and he designed a few settlements in Rise of the Commonwealth that I called paintings. Like, they are beautiful to look at. They are not ideal to play with. And you guys probably will recognize that the style is similar in all of these. It's Sanctuary, Starlight Drive-In, and Murkwater from ROTC. He did all three of them, and I'm sure you guys have seen it. There's just like, if you start scrapping items, there's layer after layer after layer of items built in.
They're actually my three favorite settlements you just mentioned. So I suppose that does make a point there.
But I think you build in a similar way if you're more interested in making a beautiful art piece than a functional settlement.
I still try to make it functional. Like, you'll notice that the settlers can path around my stuff. Like,
I'm not talking about that kind of functional. I'm like functional by a person who has an average PC.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, in the sense of the game mechanics, the settlement should work. As in, they should be able to walk around, and they'll spread out, and they'll animate, and so it will feel lively if your rig can handle it.
Yeah. Well, and I've noticed you do a lot of animation markers, which also makes them feel lively. But you just brought up another point I want to talk about, because this was a point of contention when SS2 first came out, and I think it got better when I did the overhaul rebalance over the summer. But there was a lot of, because people weren't there's the gameplay between SS1 and SS2 is a dramatic shift. Like, I think it was for the better. I think that moving to the accumulated resources is way more fun. It feels more survival gamey, and it makes it feel like you're having constant progress towards something. But it was a huge like mental shift for you guys who design city plans, because all of a sudden, now I have to balance out resources and in industry, and then if you try to do it within a single settlement with components, it's literally impossible unless you get to about 50 settlers, which is most settlements or most computers can't handle that. So where do you stand on that stuff now? Like, have you given up on trying to do industrial balance and you just don't worry about that anymore? Excuse me. Do you still try and do it a little? Like, what are your thoughts on the whole shift over to having expended resources and how that impacts your city building?
So I have two thoughts on it. For the city comps, I have it on the second setting, so it's broken it up into the different types. So it's not just you have to have scrap. Like, it's now got it into the different types of scrap, and I built at that level for the city comps. But for my own pack, which I was releasing before I did this season of city comps, I was doing that on a component level. And you're right, you'd need like 7 industrial plots per settlement, which is a lot to invest when you've got maybe 20 settlers. So you've got 7 industrial plots straight away. But the biggest problem that happens is your storage capacity starts to really... You have brought up a way to fix this now, but you'd get 2,000 steel, and you'd be like, all right, we'll have 2,000 steel. But I have no uranium, so my power generator is shutting down, and now all the plots are shutting down, and now I've got a big power issue because I've got no room to store this uranium because the steel keeps over. So now I need to get another plot, which reduces steel. Oh, no, now I've got another industrial plot, which now means I've got another person I've got to house and feed. Okay, and that house requires this resources, and it's a hard struggle. I mean, it's great gameplay-wise, and I love it. But when you're trying to build cities, you have to be like, And I've got a map that I've put up where you'd have to have clusters of cities that would work together.
Well, it's working to the design paradigm, but yeah, it definitely is it's a mess if you're trying to do city plans, because you just can't. Like, I think Yagi tried to do it forever come up with a perfect, the perfect number of every type of plot to pull it off in a city plan, and it's like, well, by design it wasn't possible. I think it's it's a little easier to wrap your head around after the rebalance, because I made the path a little clearer, but it's still not possible, and it's never designed to be. I think you need to have 3 settlements minimum to create a full production set with a reasonable number of settlers. Like, obviously you can do it with 1 settlement if you're willing to go over. Yeah, it's tight. It's real tight.
Even then, that's going to be tight, and you probably won't have a lot of commercial in those 3 settlements. They'll mostly just be food, scrap, and power and water, right? And then you're like, well, now I need a 4th settlement, which will be where you have your refining and your stores, and it lives solely off the water, power, and food that's being produced by the other settlements. So then you're like, oh, that place is being attacked. I better go defend that, because if they don't, everybody's going to starve. So. Right. And that's a great mechanic, because now you've got people going, wait a minute, where's being attacked? Yeah. Grey Garden's been... I can't let Grey Garden get damaged, because that's my food basket for 5 settlements. I better go crush whatever's attacking it.
I think it actually would probably be a good exercise for me, and entertaining people to watch after I'm done with all the story stuff, if I'm still doing the streams, is to go play play where I focus on settlements with full difficulty on maintenance costs, component level, all that. Oh, wow, and people can just watch me struggle. I'm sure folks who have gone through the struggle themselves will appreciate that. I mean, it was designed to be punishing. Like, people were always asking me in SS1 to be like, I want harder mechanics. I want settlements to be difficult. Like, it was like the people who play Horizon, which is very brutally difficult. And I hope we accomplish that. I think we're not as hard as Horizon, but yeah, you turn on all that stuff, you're gonna struggle. But it was always, and I knew that, and that was by design. But I've always been curious how that has played out in the city plan scene, of like how all you guys have. Do you feel like the general consensus is similar to yours, of like, we just don't try and do it for city plans? We stick to, let's balance around category or simple and not think about it. I think we just
try to keep it as long as the because, like, if you go into components, as I said, you got to have a minimum of 7 industrial plots. Have a good mixture of different types, because some of the industrial plots at that level will be like, I produce these 3 things.
Yeah.
You're like, all right, I produce these 2 things. Okay, so that's 2 rare. So that's 2, and I'm still missing 1 rare material. All right, so now I've got 3 plots that give me rare materials. So I have that good spread. That's 3 industrial plots, where if you go back down 1 level, you have a rare materials plot, one single one. So now you've got, instead of having 3 plots, you've got 1 plot. So when you're doing a city plan, and you've got a month to do it, you're like, do I make it on the component level and really focus on that? Because you have to make that choice like straight away.
Yeah, for sure.
And I find you just go back 1 level, because most people will have multiple city plans if they're playing on that component level, and they probably may not even use your city plans.
Right.
They're probably building it themselves.
And then they're going
the ones that are going
have to change all your building plan selection anyway to get.
They're going to have to change it out. So, and for my plans and my designs, I mean, do that at your own risk, because I put stuff on top of them. I squeeze them into corners. I mean, there's a reason why I say, like, if you want it to look like the picture, you have to use all the plots.
Right.
You got to use these plots.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's gonna, again, I think it's gonna add another challenge for you on the Masters. Is you got to remember that a lot of people are gonna come in and not have all of them. Granted, but like I said, for the judging, I will make sure everybody has them, because we want the judging to be as pretty as possible. Because like that's, I mean, I think to me my favorite part of the Masters. I don't know about you guys who are in the contest. I love those videos that we produce at the end. Those to me are like, those what make the whole thing.
Love the one that you did last year.
Those are great. I mean, those last year Luke did them. He's the guy who does the video editing for my channel, and I think he killed it. I think we both worked on season 1, and then I just didn't have time to work on it season 2. And then the narration of those is really cool. Like we find some good voice actors with cool voices and do the little narration and write up little stories. I can't remember who wrote the stories for them all. I think I've written some. I think I wrote them one year, and then I got one of some of the writers on our team to do it the other year. I might be wrong about that. I might not. I know I have done a lot of like writing around the city plan contest, but it's usually like the writing for the rules and stuff. Like I write all those big giant posts. But I know I did a lot of writing for one of them, and it might not have been the final. Anyway, the point is those videos I think come out. Those are really cool. Is that something you enjoy about that? Like, what are your thoughts on the prizes? Because I remember I did a feedback meeting with a lot of you guys at one point, and I think we all came to the consensus that like people who join the contest aren't doing it for the prizes, and like that's for the better, right? Like even when we offer a big prize on Masters, it's still not enough to like draw in cheaters, right? Like $500 is not enough. Yeah. Not enough of a draw for people to like ruin our fun.
I completely agree. Like first prize is $500, second prize $100 Steam gift card. The finalists get a professional voice city tour video, which is incredibly good work. All participants get to display it. I think those are great rewards for this year.
I think we also added the Vault Boy merch that people get for win. I think we do that. That's for top 3. I think currently for anybody who hasn't been able to score one of those, everybody gets one for participating in the Masters because of all the donations last week on the stream. That's what I decided to do with that extra bit.
That's
of money.
Awesome.
Because I think I love that vault the city manager Vault Boy that we have. So
that's great. I've got a couple of shirts like that.
I want to see a coffee mug of that on everyone's table. Well, I think you're one of the ones who's like, I don't drink coffee, mate, so not helpful.
Nope, don't drink the stuff. I don't do caffeine because I suffer from migraines.
Oh yeah, that is a worthy trade-off. I've had migraines like twice in my life, and I don't ever want to experience them again.
I'd rather not have the migraine and suffer without the caffeine.
That's fair. Well, and I think like a lot of us who love caffeine, it's more about staving off the withdrawal symptoms than anything else anymore. Like I
completely agree.
I drink so much coffee, I don't think I get the benefit. I just also don't get the withdrawal, so I'm happy with that.
I think my dad's in the same boat. He's been drinking coffee. Like he'll drink like a full espresso, then go to bed, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. I drink a coffee every night when I'm streaming, and like no problem going to sleep. And it was just normal. I grew up with it being normal. Like my parents would just drink coffee all the time. Like my mom was a stay-at-home mom and would drink a whole pot of coffee like throughout the day while she was just taking care of the house and stuff. And so like to me it was just like, oh, you're drinking coffee is normal. Like I didn't start. I think I tried it once as like a teenager and I was like, this is disgusting. It's kind of like trying beer when you're a teenager. It's like, well, how do people drink this? And then you learn about it later about why, but it was just felt so normal. So like even now it's internalized. Now it just doesn't. And I think in America at least it's super normalized. Like there are almost as many Starbucks as there are gas stations in this country. So it's just like everybody's got coffee here all the time.
It's no different here in Australia.
It's just a
But you see
global
kids
global
drinking.
addiction.
You see kids drinking the stuff, and you're like, damn.
Uh,
Like they're little teeny cups, and you're like, oh, that's so adorably cute.
Nice.
But they're drinking like hypo juice. I mean, I don't know what you're doing. Like, is it to spike them hard so they crash?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know. Not looking forward to my kids getting a taste for coffee. They got enough energy. All right, let's show off this little feature, guy. All right, so guys, anybody who's been droning out, you're just listening to us talk. Now's the chance to pay attention, and watch something cool if you haven't seen this already. So last stream, I got stuck rebuilding my power lines, and I showed at the beginning of the stream pre 9 o'clock. Some of you guys already saw that. I added a function to rebuild the power from scratch. Well, last weekend we were talking about, well, once I do that, there's probably some other stuff I can do. So you can see here I got a bunch of power poles and stuff like that, and these little gizmos everywhere. Let's see, I think I got a thing up there, generator here, some more power poles, none of them wired. And I added this little guy, and this was like, I was so excited that I managed to pull this off. But I added this is coming in the next workshop framework update. Power tools, auto wire settlement, and it runs crazy fast because I figured out how to do a new algorithm to handle this, and it does like proper wiring, and it does it optimal. So it like does a single wiring from point to point, and it connects your entire settlement up together as long as it's within range. Like it tries to keep everything within vanilla wire range, because if you go beyond that, it looks really stupid. It'll do like these big drooping wires. But anyway, so now that is a tool you guys are all going to have soon on PC.
It's so cool. I saw that and I'm like, oh, that will be handy.
Because I don't mind the wiring gameplay. Like I actually think it's kind of fun, and I like it's satisfying. But sometimes when you're just building a bunch of plots, or like when I find the way I play SS2, and I did this in SS1 too, because you don't have to have power in the early game, it was a nice way to like drag your resources out. I was like, all right, well, let's wait for power until I'm like, I have a steady increase of stuff. And then at that point, then I don't want to go around wiring it. So then being able to play like that and being like, okay, go push the button, let it wire it up. I'm ready. I have enough people on power generation, and I got enough resources to pay for all this. Let's wire her up. And like being able to do it with 1 click or 2 clicks, because you got to confirm, is pretty awesome.
I was just thinking about it more from a city builder point of view. I suppose that's how my brain automatically works. So sometimes when we're building, we have to layer, because we've pushed the game probably a little too hard. And when we go to export the plan, it crashes. So we have to turn it into a layer. We turn it into a layer, then re-import it, because the game's just become buggy. So, and then when you import a layer, the plots have to be refreshed, the wires have to be redone,
right?
The power grid has to be refixed. So having a system which I can click on a button and it just wires it all up, that would be nice.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will find use for this. It was originally inspired of just I just want to fix the grid after it gets corrupt. But this is just fun, like seeing all the wires spring up like that.
Just stringing them up everywhere. I thought that was pretty cool. I was just like, wait, those wires are building themselves. That is awesome.
Very, very satisfying. It'll be interesting to see. I'm so far behind in chat, I'm not going to do it today, but I had mentioned at the top of the stream, I was like, I might try and break this today, of like, because I haven't tested it vertically. Like, does it, like, the code I wrote, as far as I know, works in any settlement at any height and width. Because it does all this complex calculation, but sometimes I'll make little logic bugs in my code, because I had to take this algorithm called the it's like R tree, and I tried to implement it in Papyrus, and I don't know if I did a good job or not. So, I
suppose testing will find out.
Yeah, I figure people will break it this weekend when I hand it off to the beta testing team.
Yep. People will break it, and then they'll come back to you and be like, yep, so it broke here, and you'll be like, all right, best to go figure out how that happened.
I think another tool I want to add is scrap all the wires, like to just get rid of all the existing wires. That way you could do that and then let an auto rewire happen. So if you're like, I kind of did a half-assed job, or I don't want to do it anymore.
Good place to test would be Castle, because it comes with those wires inside the battlements.
Yeah, right.
Which
that could be interesting.
Can be broken quite nicely.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be. I already have the code to scrap the wires. I had to do it for that other thing where I rebuilt the whole grid. So yeah, I think I'm going to add like another option in there that says rebuild. I also added one. This was XV, I think, suggested this in the last stream, that I haven't implemented yet, but it's super easy to implement. I just ran out of time today. Is convert settlement to faux powered, which basically, if you guys have played with the city plan rules around, and this was the default in SS1, but it's not in SS2 unless you're on Xbox. Faux powered basically means if you hover over something with power it will show that it has the green lightning bolt like it's powered, even though you have nothing connected to it to generate power. So basically it'll allow you to take a settlement and make it so it doesn't actually need any power anymore. So I know some people would prefer that, of not having to deal with power at all. So I'm going to add that option as well. That will not...
People are encountering corrupted power grids on the regular. It's probably a really good option.
Oh yeah, that's, I mean, all of this stuff was because all this, me digging into this power code and figuring this out, is because I don't want people to have to, or I want people to be able to have the auto repair power grid feature turned on with Workshop Framework. It will eliminate so many crashes for people. It's unfortunate it's not available on Xbox, but for PC players who like push the limit, like that is one of the #1 causes of crashes when you arrive at a settlement. Is your power grid is corrupt, and we have a tool to fix it. But then the consequence of that is when by fixing it, we mean nuke it from orbit, and then you have a broken power grid and you got to go manually redo it all, like I did last stream. So now all this stuff, now like what'll happen is, if it detects a corrupt power grid,
nuke it, then rebuild it.
Yeah, it'll nuke it for you, and then when you get close to the center of the settlement, it'll be like, hey, we noticed your grid was corrupt. Would you like us to rebuild it? And it can rebuild it exactly how you had it. Like, it can actually like take the wire, record what things it was connected to, nuke the wire, create a new one, and then that one will be correct on the grid.
That's so good.
It's very
pat on the back, man. That's excellent.
That's, I mean, it's thanks to like a lot of it was from Registrator 2000. He gave me a lot of the code and information to do all this. So it was just me finally pulling the trigger, because I realized like it happened to me, and I'm playing very safe in this playthrough. I'm like minimal load order, not changing mods, and so like of course it's going to happen way more to everybody else who's pushing the envelope.
Oh yeah, again, somewhere like 250 mods. You're like, whew, okay, there's a lot going on with that game.
All right, let's go to some chat. I'm falling way behind here. Let's see if we can get some. So Sehue, let's see. This is for both King and Karvoc. Do you run above 60 FPS or modify your papyrus settings to reduce script lag? So I do not. In fact, I rarely get 60 FPS. I do modify my papyrus settings. I double all the numbers, and like I don't know how much of an impact that has. Some people I've heard say it has no impact, but that's how I've run mine for a long time now, and I have no issues. So what about you? Do you mess with those settings at all?
Because I'm always building settlements for the city comp, I want to keep my plays as vanilla as possible. So if I know if my system is starting to chug, oh dear God, I'm probably not going to release this plan. I'm gonna strip it back a bit, because obviously I gave you my guys my specs, so I'm not gonna go into the papyrus and make it so I can have the hundreds of frames, because it's just not going to be a fair indication of where my system or where the plan is. So I just don't touch it.
Sure. Let's see. Jim Simon asks, Carvak, do you play 7 Days to Die? Awesome building mode in that game.
I've tinkered with it a bit, but I'm not a huge fan of zombies. So I find them overdone and boring.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
And I just like, I think zombies. I'm just like, can we not get a zombie game, please, from any of the major retailers? For like, give me a Fallout game. Give me a Fallout.
We'll take feral ghouls. Yeah.
I'll take feral ghouls, because you then sometimes you get normal ghouls, right? So they're just unfortunate people, but zombies just have one. They just seem very boring and very predictable. And from a builder point of view, I'm like, well, you can just game that out. It's the same problem I have with Valheim, but that's another question.
So I have a 7 Days to Die story. So back after we released Conqueror and we had done like most of the story patches, I had a interview with the creator of 7 Days to Die.
Oh wow.
He wanted to hire me to work on 7 Days, and we had a conversation, and I had never played the game. And in the conversation, I made it clear that like I'm not a fan. Like I had never played the game, I knew nothing about it, and like it was just it was like I was clearly wasn't a good fit. Turned out he didn't actually want me, because he has coders and everything. He wanted someone to write the story. Like he just liked the way we integrated Jammer's story, and wanted something similar. And because they didn't at the time, I think now they have some story stuff, but back then they didn't have any story content in there. And they were looking for, or they liked the way we integrated that and wanted to see some story content. And it didn't, like the way the conversation went out, I think like I rubbed him the wrong way, because I was basically like, at the end of the day, like if you got work for me and the price is right, I'll do it. Which, but I think what he actually wanted was to talk to Super Weevil, our writer, because that's what he really needed, was somebody with. He thought I did all the writing and everything. It was like, no, man.
Right,
it's a team effort.
You're
anyway.
like the code monkey.
Yeah, I am not the writer for sure. But yeah, I ended up after that I played 7 Days to Die for a little while, just like trying to like, so what was this all about? Like in case he did want to come back, because at the end of the day, like I gotta, whether like working on games as a contract, I'm totally down for that, to pay those bills. And so it was like, well, if he does call me back and I didn't piss him off, then I should know a little bit about the game. The game wasn't for me because it was like too much work. Like it was, I didn't have the patience to grind out all the stuff I would do, and then I didn't know enough about it. It's a pretty deep game, it seemed like, from the so I just didn't have the time to invest in it to learn it all. I feel like that with MMOs now too. Like if I watch people play Elder Scrolls Online, and it's like, man, there's so much going on there. I don't have it in me to go pick up a game like that right now.
I don't have time for like I'll delve into like new ones, give them about a month, and if I'm not hooked or I feel like to continue playing, it's going to be, was it time versus effort? And I'm like, I don't have the time to continue to no.
Yeah. I think, I'm like, and I'm saying all that I don't have time for it or anything, and then I've been totally hooked on Elden Ring, though I don't get to play it nearly enough. But it's one of those games that's super complicated. But I'm just happy like sneaking around looking at the visuals in that game. It's so freaking beautiful. And then I get my butt kicked by bosses until I find a way to cheese them. But
I mean, that's kind of like, that's a Souls game right there in a nutshell. Like fight a boss until you can figure out how to cheese him with your own playstyle, and then beat him.
Yeah,
it's just, you die a lot figuring that out, because the way you figure it out is by dying.
I've gotten to the point now with it is like after I die enough times where it's just like, and I have no idea what the pattern is, I just start laughing because I'm like, how are you, like, what? This is insane. And I know, then I'll watch somebody do it, like who understands Souls games, and they're just like, oh, they learn, there's actual patterns to these attacks that I'm just not paying attention to. I'm just being a scrub because I don't care enough, because I'm here for a totally different reason. Like I think to me, the real beauty of Elden Ring is the exploration of like finding cool treasures and secret walls and stuff. Like that's what the greatness of that game is.
Probably get it eventually, like I did with Dark Souls 1 and Dark Souls 2.
I haven't played any of those games. I know some of my friends who are into them, and it's just, they're just not for me. Like it's like these people who put in an exceptional amount of not time, but like energy into like maximizing their gameplay, and I'm like, you guys have seen how I play an FPS. I don't care if I die. I'm not looking to get good. I don't care.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've got friends like that too, who are always like, all right, so how do we get the best out of this? And I'm like, I don't really know, man. I'm just gonna go at it.
Yeah.
And I'm dead. Yeah, well, you should do this, this, and this. And you're like, yeah, but I'm gonna keep doing it this way.
This is more fun to me.
Exactly.
It's the definition of insanity. I'm gonna just keep doing the same thing and hope for different results.
I might change it slightly, but I'm not going to go out of my way.
That's a safe. Yeah. We'll go change it slightly so I'm not completely insane.
Exactly.
Choo asks, Karvoc, what settlement would you like to see be a master's location one day?
Realistically, I'd like it to be a custom one that's in the middle of the city.
Ah, okay. Like in the middle of Diamond City?
No, well, there's a whole section of the stands where you can make a great settlement, but it's just completely not used. But no, not inside, but like inside Boston itself.
Okay, interesting. Which no one, are there any even custom settlements in there? I would feel like there's so few people who could use them, like, because it's such a FPS check in there.
That's probably why it hasn't happened. Or I would like possibly a wouldn't be Vault, because the Vault's a pain in the butt to work a city plan into. It's just doesn't play well. So we've had Spectacle, Sanctuary. We're probably going to have... Yeah, the Swans could work if it was to be a custom settlement.
Yeah, Swans,
because that would be cool. Yeah,
having a big water body right in the middle of your settlement would be an interesting design.
Yeah, that would be pretty neat. Plus, you've already got like the fence line, the actual gated park, well, the gated pond. You could have water plots, you could have non-water plots, you've got lots of walls, you've got plenty of stuff you could play off. That would be a really nice place to do a Masters, because there'd just be so many options. Like, what do you build there?
I am looking forward to, between Masters and season and Chapter 3, what we end up doing for those city plan contests. So like I think there's 3 or 4 settlements that we did or didn't do that we haven't done yet, or that we did and nobody submitted an entry for, that we'll probably repost those up, hoping to get some entries, because I really, especially for when we bring the pre-build back, I want to make sure that there are some city plans available for every single settlement, because having that variety to randomize between is so freaking cool. Like I remember doing my Let's Plays with the pre-build, and like never knowing what you're gonna see when you arrive in a settlement is so fun. Like that's just that roll of the die, and the only way that works is if we have city plans. So like making sure we have some for every settlement, I think is gonna be pretty clutch.
I think that's a really good idea, because sometimes you'd be like, I haven't seen this plan. And then you run up to you try and find the desk. You're like, where's the desk? Where's the desk? I made this. And then you're like, oh my God, I'm going to go check out their mods. Like, this is great. I want to see what else they've got.
Yeah.
And then you download more of their stuff because you didn't realize, because sometimes people aren't the best at taking photos. I know I'm terrible at it. In videos, don't even get me started.
It's one of those things that I think most mod authors hate, is the last step of like building their mod page, because it's like, I just spent all this time proving that I can make something cool, and now I got to do it again. Like, marketing sucks
every month.
Yeah. Marketing is one of the necessary evils of creation, of like, okay, now you created this really cool thing, now you have to distill it into something that will grab the attention of people whose attention is being tugged in 40 other directions. It's the sucky part of it all, but it's like I said, necessary evil.
That's it. It's the tricky part. But yeah, there'd be a couple of different. I'd want it to be somewhere inside the greater like Boston area, like inside the actual city itself.
So I thought I was almost caught up to chat, and then my chat just like decided, nope, here's the last 40 minutes worth of messages, so I'm way behind.
Oh, dear God.
Not Crazy asked like an hour ago, thinking about designing an indie plot, which is industrial, to provide not just storage but also enough security to offset the need to increase the marshal required. Is it possible for a plot to multitask? Yeah, there's nothing stopping it. The plot, the code is super open and kind of lets you do whatever the hell you want. So if you start digging into the documentation, you'll find that once you see the spot where you put in settlement resources, there's nothing stopping you from giving absolutely. I mean, you could make one super plot that gave 500 water, 500 electricity, 500 food, and some settlements would let you do it. The one thing is that players have the ultimate control. There is a setting, if you guys have ever wondered why this setting exists. If you go into the Sim Settlements 2 stuff, I'm able to load here. If you go to gameplay and you look at balance, there are these building plan construction costs, operating costs, produce items, resources. If you find that some add-on pack authors are abusing those systems, but you still like their designs, you can turn all this off, and then it makes that building plan only provide the default for the class. So that's why these were put in, because we had some people who were doing that in SS1, where they were creating like really interesting buildings, but they were like making them super unbalanced. I won't name names, and so it was like, yeah, this would be easy for me to fix, right? I could just like override. So now the player has ultimate control, but you can do it, and I think some people would love it. They don't care about the balance and are just like, oh, I just want that. But the reason we did that is not only for that of like the balance and the people who use the building plans that they want for just the looks, but also so that people can get a consistent experience of just like, all right, I know that this class always offers me this, and then I'm not having to think about it. And then also players min-maxing. Like there's a saying in the game industry that players will optimize the fun out of your game, and that's like our natural tendency is to min-max, and so like if that happens, like say your indie plot, say you do what you said, and it's as long as you think about it and it's balanced out, you maybe put some penalties to make up for it. If it's not balanced and people are min-maxing, then all of a sudden your building plan becomes the best choice every time. And then players will ruin the experience for themselves, because now all industrial plots are boring looking because they all have the exact same building plan. So that is like kind of my philosophy.
Yeah, no variety there.
You want, I want to. That's why I like the class system. It was something we stumbled upon in Conqueror, and we just fully embraced for SS2. Is I think the class system gives you the best of both worlds. You get to have interesting mechanics and interesting production on your plots, but players get to focus just on what looks cool. Like for the most part, you still there's enough gameplay in there where it's like, well, I have to have, I need a power plant or I need a martial plot. But you can still choose between tons of different designs for it. So that is where that stands. All right, let's scroll down and look for @KingGath so I don't have to read it all. Nuke Cell says magic, got it. I don't know what that's referred to. Probably me talking technobabble. Let's see. No trick. Does the cemetery plot make bodies disappear quicker? The way it's designed, I can't tell you if it's working correctly or not. You guys could probably tell me better. Is when a settler dies, it should clean up their body either the next time you load it in the settlement or next time you leave the settlement, and then it will move all their loot over. So for most players, that will have no impact because you're probably not playing with mortal NPCs. But if you're playing with those mods that make settlers mortal, it will be useful. And then and then we also have we have a setting with NPC deaths for the diseases, where diseases can kill NPCs. It's an optional setting that's off by default. If you have that on, NPCs can die. And we will likely have some sort of difficulty setting when the Conqueror systems come to SS2 that will allow you to have your NPCs die as well. So there'll be more uses for the cemetery in the future, but it currently does not impact enemy bodies. That's likely something. So I'll just spoil this because everybody who played Conqueror knows about it. In in Conqueror, we had a building class called Battlefield Scavengers, and that will be used to clean up enemies.
Be very happy to see that return.
I agree. And I think it fits way better in SS2 now, because now you can actually, you have resources, right? You have pools of resources. So now we can actually, Battlefield Scavenger will clean up the bodies and then boom, give your settlement some resources for the trouble, which I think will fit in real nice.
Sometimes just even equipment. So you'd raid a settlement or attack another place, and you'd kill some people. So it saves you having to loot everybody, because they'll go through and they'll just loot the bodies and bring it back.
Right,
which is also handy too.
Go to the workbench, grab the
grab the stuff out,
and bullets or whatever. Yeah,
it'd be like dropping a recon beacon on a settlement after you've just killed everybody.
Right,
so good,
right, pretty much.
So useful.
Let's see, Gavman. I try to consider balance, but really, it's to stop spamming industrial plots. You definitely don't want to. I definitely don't want people to have to spam. That's why I'm glad you guys have come to the conclusion of it's not worth trying to balance single settlements on that, because you'd be really boring settlements, right? If every settlement was just here's a bunch of industrial. I think it's, as you said it, Karvak, of you just assume players are not going to just use one city plan; they're going to use a bunch, which is I think accurate. Zephyr X, for Chapter 3, will you add additional settlements? I don't know. I don't think we're not adding any more settlements. There's tons of mods that already do new settlements. If it didn't require us to alter vanilla records, we would have been doing that by now. But because adding a new settlement implicitly alters location records, we have made it. It's not on the plate for. It's not allowed based on my modding rules. We are not allowed to alter vanilla stuff. Anything we do, it has to be injected in a way where it won't override other mods. So the closest we got to an exception to that is all the doors that we put in Chapter 2, but right from shipping, we had a way for you to disable them, and now I've made it even more obvious with all the doorbells and the intercoms of I do not want Sim Settlements 2, which to most people, they read that without, if they haven't followed along, they haven't watched videos on it or anything, it just sounds like, oh, I'm going to get a SimCity thing. They're not going to expect us to be messing with other mods. They're gonna be like, oh, this is a base level framework, and I want us to continue to hold that. I want people to be able to install Sim Settlements 2 in any load order and be happy about that. And so one of the ways we've done that is we just do not alter vanilla records, and that's what's required for creating new settlements. The exception would be creating interior settlements or new world space, and there's so much work. I mean, the closest we'll get to that is with new stuff is HQ. And the only reason we were able to pull that off is because the cell already existed as a vanilla cell. Beyond that, it's just creating new cells at that scale is so much work. The amount of work Bethesda put in to build that vault, for Vault, the Vault-Tec DLC, it's a lot of work to build a big giant interior cell like that.
Yes, completely agree. Those cells are insane.
But I think there's enough great settlements out there already. I'm pretty sure XV has said that you can get to 128 settlements right now by installing a bunch of settlement mods. Does that sound correct to you, Carvak?
Yeah, like every Red Rocket, there's a couple of different places. Right, there's a lot of other additional cells. There are a lot of great settlements out there that are compatible with SS, with the Sim settlement stuff.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say SS.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. With the some settlement stuff, those are all compatible. There's just so many great settlement mods out there. I just don't think we need to get involved in that. And a lot of them are like if you're looking for, I know there are a handful out there that aren't built correctly and they'll be weird, but go grab any by Niher, Pra, XV,
Yagi.
Yep. Yeah, they're all rock solid. Like they work great with some settlements and everything. So you can easily get yourself to 100 settlements. And I said earlier 128. 128 is like a hard limit. If you have more than that, then a lot of the workshop scripts will start failing and you're going to have problems.
You're gonna have problems before then. Anyway,
right?
Even if you have if you have half those settlements running with a settlement of 21 people, which is generally the default with max charisma plus bobblehead,
right?
Your game is going to be chugging so bad, and your save's going to be so big, you're probably having crashes everywhere.
Right, that's true. Let's see. No trick. I really think Carvak should contain more complex stuff than steel. There's actually a mod that does that. There's a mod that alters all of the scrap you get and makes it more realistic, and it's actually a pretty fun mod because then it does feel more satisfying. And like when you start thinking about like, oh, I need copper, oh, let me go scrap some light posts, and then they don't give you any and it's super disappointing, and this mod fixes that. So it's like you can just intuit what you're going to get. It's also it unbalances the amount of scrap you get, but I personally have long given up on caring about scrap when I'm in build. Like when I'm in build mode, I just build. That actually is part of what inspired the virtual resource system. We didn't want to break the vanilla game, but also because I knew a lot of other people were feeling the same way I was. Of just like when I'm in build mode, I go to free build. I go to TGM or whatever because I'm just building, and it was like, well, then that we need a way to get around that feeling and bring back some of the gamification, and the resource system in SS2 I think accomplishes that.
Actually, further to that point, the scrapper perk, which a lot of people do put off for a while, does give you more resources from scrapping those items like cars. When you got it maxed out, you get a lot more from scrapping a car than just steel.
I did not know that. I only knew it I remember my first playthrough of Fallout 4, when I read the scrapper perk, I was like, oh, I'm not ready for that yet. And then I read like the level 2 and it starts giving you more advanced components. I hoarded every single weapon and armor I found in the entire game for the entire, this is why salvage beacons came to exist, because this is how I played my first playthrough, and I kept them all in containers. And then finally at like level 30 or whatever, whenever you unlock that, when is it that you unlock that? Let's see here. When do you unlock the one that's, you know what I'm talking about? What's that?
Yeah,
Scrapper. This one. It's let's see. Level 23, and then I read this level 40. You get more from salvaging. I waited till I hit level 40 and then scrapped every single piece of equipment I'd collected from whenever I found the perk, like level 5 or whatever. And that was like, it just took me hours of scrapping just to get so I could min-max. Like that's another one of those moments of optimizing the fun out of it, because that wasn't fun for me. It felt satisfying. I mean, like, yeah, I maximized my junk when I could have during that same amount of time. Probably, like at that point I was probably super rich at level 40 anyway.
Another thing on that note is the cars which are completely stripped out, which are just a frame, they'll generally only give you like oil and something else, but the ones which can blow up, like they have way more resources.
Okay,
they have way more resources before you blow them up.
Just the and just with the scrapper perk it adds more. You don't have to have them on to do that.
Just scrapper perk and don't blow them up and scrap them. They have way more resources than an exploded version.
Let's see.
It's really crazy how Bethesda hid stuff like that.
No, that's great.
They do it all the time.
Yeah, I love that stuff. I think that's one of the fun parts of these games. Nukecell, is the storyline for Chapter 3 finished? If not, is it finished in your head at least? Well, it's not in my head. It's in Zurich's. It is. The story for Chapter 3 is all outlined and done. Now it's just like the writing team is working on dialogue, basically. But the story is all finished there, and we've already started implementing some of it. Like the first quest of Chapter 3 is already, the dialogue's already set up in the creation kit, and it's not playable yet because we don't have the voice acting, but we're already working on it. Let's see, Gavman, the other one is defense on junk storage. Just the player home objects on my Castle City plan require more than a level 3 advanced martial plot and junk storage to cover it. The defense on junk storage, and that's an option people can turn off too. That's another one. Yeah, the defense requirements are really heavy in SS2. And I think that the whole idea there was that, it's a dangerous world, and if you start building up a settlement, like some of my decisions gameplay wise were, because I end up making a lot of the ultimate decisions on the team for gameplay mechanics, is the more you build up, the more prosperous you are, and the more attractive a target you are for the scum of the Commonwealth. So that was an immersive decision, but it's one of those ones where I knew some people would be like, this is too much, and so that's why you can turn that off in the options. Obviously, it doesn't help you as a city plan designer. You have to assume people are going to have it on, but it is an option for players. Let's see. No trick. Does anyone do that full difficulty? Oh yeah, there's a lot of players who play full difficulty. A lot of people, because like right now, it's something I'm going to actually remove. I've had it on my list to do for a while and I just haven't gotten around to it, is we tied the difficulty options to your gameplay difficulty. So if you play in survival mode, most of the hardcore options start on, with a few exceptions. Like I think death to settlers doesn't turn on by default, but like maintenance cost is on, full complexity. That's one of the things I'm going to disconnect, because I've had a few people point out that the survival, just because you're playing survival doesn't necessarily mean you want that intense SS2 system, and that for most players, the average settings that we have set up, like the default settings, are good enough for most people. But a lot of people who played on survival are getting all those mechanics and not realizing they can turn them off. That's actually one of the reasons, like, where I've been on the fence about, and probably why I haven't pulled the trigger on removing the connection to the base game difficulty, is I think a lot of players would never even know about stuff like the component level difficulty if that wasn't enabled by default. And you can turn it off. All it does is your difficulty level that you start the game with. So if you start on easy, then it puts your settings to automatic. And if you start on anything less than survival, you start on the average settings. And then if you start on survival, you get like the hardcore mode, and with all the options enabled. And yeah, I think I don't know if a lot of people would have ever seen those options if they wouldn't have just been enabled by default. Because I think a lot of people who are coming back, or who play a lot of the game, like to play on survival because it makes their playthroughs last longer. So I don't know. So yeah, there are a lot of people who play with that, and I'm been debating disconnecting it from the difficulty options. The reason I did it is because I wanted to eliminate the pop-up. So do you remember Karvoc in SS1, whenever you started up a new game, you had to deal with a whole bunch of pop-ups from SS. So it would be like
all the pop-ups, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, what is your system specs? Like, what is do you want to do the pre-build with Conqueror? What performance options do you want to set? All this stuff would come up, or like what difficulty level. And it was like, I hate that stuff. I hate it when other mods do it. I wanted to eliminate all of it from SS2. That was like one of the design goals. And so
a mod I still use now is no pop-ups for all the creation kit stuff made by Coots.
Oh yeah, that mod's great. That's great.
It's so annoying. You come out of the vault and get hit by 5 million things. You're like, just go away.
And they're full quests too. So all of a sudden you open you're supposed to be like focused on your son, and instead it's like go find.
You go off and find a dog.
Go find 12 dogs, right?
Exactly. I'm gonna go over here and find a dog because it's closer.
Right. And it has
Speaking
a map
of
marker
dogs,
on it.
Got mine trying to get me.
Oh, he probably needs a walk. Well, we'll wrap up in a few minutes here. I'm going to catch up with all these questions, so you can get back to that, and I can get some sleep tonight. Let's see. Discmaster checking in. Hello, how are you? Let's see here. Zingio. Wow, will it keep some items on their own wire instead of linking around sirens and the beacon? You're talking about the auto wire. Yeah. See how far behind I'm on chat? I did that auto wire demo like half an hour ago. No, it does not keep any on their own wire currently. Like those will be like the type of things I'm sure the testers will tell me this weekend, and then I'll come up with tweaks for it. Right now I was just happy to get to create code that was able to like come up with an optimal tree of where, because the goal was you don't want everything to just wire to everything within vicinity, because then you'd have like just like a crazy number of excess wires. And so coming up with code that could do that, I was so excited I pulled that off, because I don't do this often. It's well, that's not true. In my coding job, I do this all the time. I have a problem and I have to find like a scientific solution to it. Like, what's the optimal solution to this problem? And you have to just the hard part is usually figuring out what the name of the problem is. And so, but I've never done it with Fallout modding. This is the first time where I was like, okay, well, I understand the problem. I looked up the scientific explanation of it and what the optimal solution was. And I was like, all right, let me see if I can take that optimal solution and code it into Papyrus. And so this is what you're seeing is just me getting excited. This is like first draft of it. Let's see. No trick. So is the workshop menu for that power fix menu? Is the workshop for that power fix menu? I'm not understanding the question, or maybe I'm just reading it incorrectly. It'll all be on the patch notes, and I'll probably explain it in the patch note video for SS2. I'll probably go over this workshop framework stuff because it's too cool not to. Jim Simon, will it rewire if you add a plot or power connector in between to established wired points? So the way right now the code works is it will basically calculate out a optimal tree, and it ignores the existing wires. So if the optimal tree, like, so say for example, I started and like this guy was wired to this, the calculated code would just not care that those were wired, and it would still wire it again to here. So yes, it can add wires to your existing grid without you having to do anything. Mythor should probably check whether it will wire things outside standard boundary. It probably will. Like anything that's set up, linked to the settlement correctly, it'll probably wire it. Let's see, Ziffer X. Mine now has like 220 plus mods. That's a lot of mods. I think the biggest loader I've had, I think, was in the low 200s. And I remember there were a lot of like landmines, like just random complications and stuff that would nuke my save. So I had to be careful when I got up that much. But there's some, I know like Raybo, who's a regular in the community and has a steady load order it uses all the time. That's around 500, I think, or maybe 450, something like that. Well, I see him in chat and he can tell you. Choo-Choo1, if you have not maxed out your load order, you're not living close enough to the edge. Wait, what? End of the beginning started. Oh, this is my test save. I was like, we just did end of the beginning. I forgot. I probably started this test save from my last end of session. Okay. So there's that much time passed in game. Let's see here. No trick. Bunker in the glowing sea for a custom settlement. Yeah, that's the type of thing we could pull off, is like building interior cells to be that. But I don't think we'll do it again. I think HQ is going to be our one contribution to a settlement-like thing that we do. We had a plan. If we ever made it to chapter 4, we did have plans for like this big epic settlement that was going to be all green. Like it was going to like be, look like something out of Fallout 76. But the chances of that happening are very, very, very slim. Like so slim, I will put it in the less than 1% range. Like it's very unlikely that happens. Choo-Choo1, thinking back to 4x4 plots, maybe they could be their own class, like wonder plots, like wonder buildings from Civ games. They could give a settlement or empire with wide bonuses. Yeah, that's definitely a cool idea. I think 4x4 is like right now it's just in that phase of let's see if it's feasible to place them, because that's my biggest concern. Is I know there are limitations with how deep you can make items go before they start like running into engine problems. We also have a problem if you break your pre-combines, it can make placing, like if you use scrap everything, I think that's the one. It gets really hard to place 3x3 plots. And so I don't know how well 4x4 are going to work, period. So we're just in the phase right now. Before thinking about gameplay, we're just thinking about, would they be feasible? Evil Mechanic 427, I think GAI would present new challenge for custom city plan. I'm not sure what GAI is. You know what that is, Carvak?
GIA. Are they talking about the gunner, the plaza?
I don't know. It just says G, capital A, capital I. Maybe there was some more conversation I missed about it. Sehui, do you know if building commercial plots can fill the requirement for recruiting the vanilla unique settlers, Ron Stables, Doc Anderson, etc.? I actually don't know. I think it depends on the plot. So if the building plan, or I'm sorry, not the plot, the building plan. If the building plan uses the vanilla shopkeeper markers, it should work for them. But I'm betting if they're not, it will not work for those shopkeepers. But easy way to test out is just assign one of those guys to the right type of plot. Like, I think it's Vault, like the Vault Tech guy. I think he's supposed to be a general store. If you sign him to, the
general store,
yeah, then he should have the extra items if it's working. But I think what it is if I set it up, which I think I did, you would need a level 3 commercial plot to get their thing, because that's how they work in the base game. Is you have to have a level, like the final version of the shopkeeper stall to get access to their special inventory items. Discmaster, since you are in your test save, this is a good opportunity to visually document a known previs bug. Boston Airport 05, look for the fence on the arrival. I'm about to wrap it up, Discmaster, otherwise I would happily do that. In fact, I think I'm going to call Not Crazy's thing is going to be the last one. Weekly question again for a playthrough with Super Mutant Redux. Yeah, Super Mutant Redux. I mean, I'm sure. I can't say never. I won't say never. In my current plan, I don't have any current plans to play a big modded load order again, because this has been so valuable to do this playthrough with just mods that I'm in charge of, so that I can I have fixed so many bugs from this playthrough that I don't want to give that up anytime soon. But we'll see. So who knows what I might. I had a ton of fun doing those Let's Plays where I took mod suggestions from everybody. That was a lot of fun. So I might miss that one day. I want to come back to it. But I might end up doing it with another game one day or something. We'll see. But I don't know. Fallout 4 is always going to have a special place in my heart with how many hours and years I have committed to it.
Likewise.
Yeah. Nuke Swen says Choo Choo. Yeah, one day I hope that'll be a great thing for that 4x4 plot if we can get them working. Carvak, thank you for joining me tonight. Is there
thank you for having me.
Is there anything that you wanted to discuss that I completely failed to bring up, or you didn't get a chance to? You didn't have it because I didn't give you a moment edgewise.
No. I mean, you get two ramblers, and we're gonna ramble, and I think we did
Rambler's gonna ramble.
quite well.
I think anybody who tunes in past 10:30, that's what they're here for. They're just it's just
the rambling.
We're background entertainment while they work on whatever they're working on.
I can't help myself. You get talking, I just keep talking.
Can you post a link to your Discord for people to find?
I can.
So if you guys are interested in doing city plan design, you want to have some like-minded folks to get excited about your latest design with. You want tips on doing city plan contest stuff or building in other games. Carvak has got a server that you would love to be a part of. Please go join that. If you get blocked from it, I'll approve it in the chat there. Otherwise, if you don't see it there, or it got deleted or something somehow in the chat, head to the simsettlements.com forums. You will find Karvoc with his username Karvoc. You can message him there. He'll gladly send you a link to join that server. Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure. I look forward to seeing what you do for the Masters contest. And thank you everybody for. It certainly will be. You're gonna have tough competition this year. There's a lot of great city planners who've been along for the ride all season.
Tough competition every year.
It's gonna be. I think this is gonna be our most impressive year. And not only because of the people, but also just the depth of stuff that's available to build with now. It's quite a pool.
And we keep adding to it. Yeah. We see stuff and we're like, oh, we wish this was part of the who do we talk to get this kid?
Yeah, well, first we got to convince Strong to come out of retirement, and then we can get the toolkit expanded. But for now, we've got, thankfully, people putting out more building plans. All right, guys. Thanks for spending your Wednesday evening with me. I will catch you all next week.